Chapter 215. How can she explain it to Rong? Out of Lin's expectation, Rong doesn't know the name of Goldie. He is just surprised that the Lins raise such a fierce bird. He is worried about the safety of the Lins. Lin remembers Rong's stiff body in front of the Goldie. She doesn't doubt that Rong is telling the truth. That night, Mr. Lin makes several bamboo shoots. Rong is impressed by the bamboo shoots and he is even more motivated to translate the bamboo sheets at night. The starry sky is a bit dim tonight, but Lin is still in a good mood. It is about 11 o'clock at night. Rong has gone back to his bedroom to rest. The backyard of the Lin's house is like the last pure land under the neon lights. The moonlight is dancing, quiet and amiable. This place will become better and more beautiful. Thinking of the blue stone in her space, Lin is full of longing. She goes to check on the cyan little fox first. The little fox is lying in its nest, but it is breathing slowly. Lin takes the fox's favorite fruits and spirit herbs and puts them next to the fox's nest. It's late at night. Lin's family members have all gone to bed. Only Rong's room is still lit. However, Lin assumes that Rong can't see through the shadows of the bamboos. She moves the blue stone out of the space. The moonlight shines through the gaps of the bamboo leaves. The island is getting more and more serene. Lin uses her mind and a pile of jade materials appears in front of her. Though unpolished, the jade contains pure and auspicious Reiki. It is still beautiful under the hazy moonlight. These are all high-end jade materials. They are worth 3 times as much as the House of the Lins if they are converted into Chinese currency. Tonight, Lin is going to bury these valuable jade materials under the Lin's house together with the blue stone. The blue stone, which is as big as a round table, gives Lin the idea. Lin feels the activity of Reiki of the 5 elements around the blue stone again. She is sure that there is no Reiki in the blue stone. She is more confident now. The first thing that arouses her suspicion is the black epiphyllum. It grows on the blue stone with a little bit of soil and looks like it has no Reiki at all. Lin almost gets lost when she uses her inner vision. At that time, Lin Luoran thought it was a coincidence. However, as she learned about cultivation and collected many spirit herbs in the secret land, she knows that spirit herbs can never grow like this without an environment with abundant Reiki. Compared with the cities, the deep mountains have more wood Reiki, but it is only limited to the growth of ginseng and poria. Such a special species must be accompanied by treasures to help it grow. According to the description in the general introduction, this big blue stone, which is half jade and extremely hard, is the spirit gathering stone. The name sounded ordinary and it was not very useful in refining tools, nor could it be used as medicine. However, it had a function that no other treasure could replace, setting up arrays. To be more precise, in the age of magic, every sect had plenty of such spirit-gathering stones. They were used as the core of the mountain guarding formation, and as the foundation of the mountain guarding formation, they were used as layers upon layers of formations. It can't be used to refine weapons or make elixirs. Its only function is to gather Reiki. It gathers the Reiki of the 5 elements between heaven and earth and continuously provides the power for the magic circle to run. It is a useless stone, but it can change the surrounding environment. Nowadays, the Reiki in the world is thin and the Reiki is restless. The effect of gathering Reiki seems to be useless, but Lin Luoran has a cheating device with her. She has the bead. Lin Luoran doesn't know much about the Reiki gathering circle, but what if she sets up a big protective circle to cover the whole Lin's house? From the outside, this is a huge protective circle to ensure the safety of the Lin's house. From the inside, they are all inside the circle. The spirit gathering stone is the core of the circle. All Reiki is used on the circle, so some Reiki will leak out. As long as Lin Luoran is at home, the bead she wears will continuously convert Reiki. This house will become a perfect place for cultivation. Lin Luoran feels that her heart is pounding. Immersed in her own thoughts, Lin Luoran doesn't know that if the protective circle covers the whole Lin's house, it will be like a protective circle for the mountain. Of course, Lin Luoran lacks knowledge about magic circles. This protective circle for the mountain can only provide simple protection. When facing an enemy attack, there is no magic circle for cover, and there is no killing circle. Lin Luoran can only be attacked passively. Lin Luoran can't ask for too much. She finally cuts the Reiki gathering stone in half. She plans to bury one half of it under the island. As for the other half, she plans to do the same for the villa in Qingqing. Putting away the other half of the spirit gathering stone, Lin Luoran casts a spell of the nature of earth. The yellow soil tumbles and becomes soft. The soil seems to be alive. It actively wraps around the spirit gathering stone and sinks it under the small ring island. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters. Lin Luoran uses her spiritual mind to feel the movement of the spirit gathering stone. When it sinks to a depth of 10 meters, she stops the spell. At this depth, no matter what the people in the Lin's house are doing, they can't dig it out. Looking at the pile of jade on the ground, Lin Luoran sighs that she really has a hard life. She simply sits down and starts to carve the circle. Lin Luoran has been studying the protective circle for the past 3 months. She often practices on the jade, so she is very familiar with the nodes of the circle. However, it is still not easy for Lin Luoran to draw a picture of the protective circle with the whole Lin's house as the drawing paper and the jade as the nodes. Lin Luoran closes her eyes and uses her spiritual mind to look down on the whole Lin's house. She ponders for half a night. When dawn comes, she is a little bit sure. Lin Luoran is running around the Lin's house with jade of different sizes in her hand. A piece of jade the size of an egg is placed under the fish tank in the front yard, in front of the camphor tree, on the right side of the garage, behind the embroidery building on the root of a rose, and even under the water of a small lake. Lin Luoran has placed pieces of jade in all these places. The biggest jade is the size of a bowl, and the smallest is the size of an egg. The jade is full of Reiki, which is a great fortune in the world of cultivation. Lin Luoran is not stingy at all. She had placed hundreds of pieces of jade. She was not physically tired, but her mind was severely exhausted. She makes a spell of the earth with her right hand and directs the hundreds of jade to sink into the ground. The height of the jade is different, which is also a test of her control. After finishing all this, the sky is already bright. The light in Rong Donglin's room is on again. Lin Luoran doesn't want to enchant in front of him, so she stops and goes to make breakfast at Ian the Li's village, which is far away from the city. 4 years have passed, and Mrs. Li seems to have lost some weight. Her face is wrinkled. However, when she scolds people, she is more energetic than 4 years ago. Go and make a poached egg for your brother. Let him eat it before he goes to work. Mrs. Li is holding a plastic bowl in her hand. The bowl is half filled with chicken millet, and she is holding 2 hot eggs in her left hand. Sister Li complains in a low voice, "Mom, you are so partial. My brother has been sleeping at home for 3 years. He doesn't look like he is going to find a job. We have to let him have a few eggs. Why don't you give this to your son-in-law so that he can carry a few more buckets of dung?" Sister Li is still murmuring. Mrs. Li picks up the feather duster and starts to beat Sister Li. "Didn't you just eat a few eggs? Why are you talking so much nonsense? Anping is the only graduate student in the village. How can he compare with your dung picker? I'm going to beat you to death." Mrs. Li is strong, but she is not as flexible as Sister Li. The mother and daughter are running and hiding in the yard full of chicken and duck droppings. Her old hen, which has just laid an egg, is so scared that it flaps its wings and flies to the wall, cackling. These scenes have been played countless times in the past 3 years. People in the Li's village are used to it. Li Anping lies on the bed with peace of mind. He turns a blind eye to the argument between his mother and sister. He covers his head and sleeps. Seeing his wife in her 40s is beaten by Mrs. Li, Li Anping's brother-in-law is very angry. His family works hard to provide for his brother, but they don't wait to serve him. Living in the countryside, although it doesn't cost much, the rice doesn't fall from the sky. The eldest son-in-law has long been dissatisfied with his brother-in-law who eats and drinks for nothing at home. He wears a pair of flip-flops and walks to the window of Li Anping's room. He knocks on the glass. "You just watch our mom and your sister quarrel for you every day. How can you do that? Li Anping, we have raised you for 3 years. If you are a man, you should support yourself. We can't afford to raise a loser who eats for nothing." Mrs. Li screams, "Anping just can't find a job. Who said my son is a loser? She lets go of Sister Lee and pounces on the eldest son-in-law with the feather duster. The three of them are fighting. Chickens are crowing and dogs are barking. Finally, Li Anping can't pretend to be asleep anymore because of the noise in the yard and the ridicule of his brother-in-law. He gets out of bed in his slippers and pushes the door open. I'm going to work today. Can you stop quarreling? After 3 years of living like a beggar, Li Anping, who used to be handsome, loses the handsome feeling without good clothes. Besides, he doesn't have to work, so he is much fatter. His beard is unkempt and his eyes are black. Lin Luoren may not be able to recognize him. Hearing that her son is going to work, Mrs. Li smiles and throws away the feather duster. My son, you can stay at home for a while. I'm going to cook you a poached egg. Sister Li is also smiling. Even the eldest son-in-law, who doesn't like his brother-in-law, is excited to hear that he is going to work. At least he will be a graduate student. How can he worry about not finding a job? After a while, Mrs. Li smiles happily. She takes the poached egg and watches Li Anping shaving. The wrinkles on her face are like a blooming chrysanthemum. I've always said that you are a good boy, but you are too honest. You should have told your brother-in-law about this earlier. Anping, when did you secretly contact your employer? Li Anping looks at the mirror and says in a muffled voice, someone else contacted me. Mrs. Li's frown becomes smoother. Her son is a good boy, so she is respected in the village. Her family is also influential. Thinking of showing off, Mrs. Li asks Li Anping which big company he works for. When Li Anping says, Fortune House, the poached egg in Mrs. Li's hand falls to the ground. Anping, my son, how can you go to that damn place? That bitch Ellie is so vicious. How can you forget that she hired someone to break your leg? Hearing that Ellie broke his leg, Li Anping uses the shaving knife and a blood mark appears on his chin. He hates Ellie more than Lin Luoren because of the broken leg. How can he forget it? Now that he has the chance to go back, he will ask Ellie to pay for it in person. He swears that he will pay for it with interest. Chapter 216. Li's village has become a distant memory in Lin Luoren's mind. The path of cultivation is hard for her. She doesn't have time to think about Li Anping's family, which makes her feel uncomfortable. Rong's translation is going well. Today, Luodong comes home early and comes to the bamboo house to do his homework. Lin Luoren agrees that Luodong likes to stay with Rong. After all, Rong is trustworthy both in terms of character and knowledge. Seeing that Luodong is interested in Rong's Shui script, an idea comes to Lin Luoren's mind. If Luodong decides to cultivate in a few years, it will be reasonable for him to learn these ancient scripts. Luodong has a few years to learn from Rong. If he can master the basic knowledge, he won't be wasting his time. Even if he doesn't plan to cultivate in the future, it is not a bad thing to learn these ancient scripts. Lin Luoren sneaks out of the study and decides to ask Rong about it. The cyan little fox has woken up. Lin Luoren detoxifies it again. Although it is still lying in its nest listlessly, Lin Luoren suddenly feels that the fox looks at her more affectionately after escaping from death. If she doesn't cultivate, Lin Luoren is an idle person. Recently, Mr. Lin likes to do morning exercises in the park. He is obsessed with practicing the 5 animal frolics with a group of old men who look much older than him. Seeing that Mrs. Lin is so bored, Mr. Lin asks her to practice with him. Mrs. Lin can't cultivate at this time, but there are fruits and vegetables in the space. She drinks spirit wine like water. Her body functions are rejuvenated. Her coordination and tenacity are very good. She reluctantly follows Mr. Lin to practice for a few days and she is doing well. Everyone in the family has something to do. Lin Luoren goes to the basement. She has nothing to do. She remembers that she has not planted the seedlings of the fruit trees she found in the mountain in her space. After planting the wild pear, chestnut, and fig trees, Lin Luoren picks an apple. She sits on the swing tied to the branch of the apple tree and starts to eat the apple. When she first opened the space, there was only a small pond, a green tree, and 2 or 3 feet tall grass. The space was also very small. Now, in her space, there were peaches, apples, cherries, grapes, pears, figs, all kinds of vegetables, herbs, spirit herbs, volcanoes, and small springs. The wind and rain were all natural. In the beginning, the space was only a small piece of land that could be used for planting. Now, it had become a multifunctional plantation with more than 1 acre of land. If he had to point out a regret, it would be that the restriction on the small wooden hut was still not opened. The fire phoenix ate half of the strange fire in the Kalahari Desert last time. He doesn't know how it is now. The cabin looks quiet and there is no sound at all. Lin Luoran picks a basket of peaches, apples, and grapes. She also prunes the branches and leaves of several fruit trees. Then she leaves the space with the basket. Putting the fruit aside, Lin Luoran thinks about the magic circle she set last night. She wants to enchant the magic circle tonight, but now she is in a hurry. Whether the magic circle is successful or not, it still needs to be tested by the enchantment. After calming herself down, Lin decides to start the enchantment right now. As usual, she uses the jade spirit stones to surround her. In case she runs out of Wacken during the enchantment, it is convenient for her to replenish. Sitting cross-legged, Lin Luoran's Wacken comes out from her fingertips. First, she explores the nearest jade under the embroidery building. Lin Luoran's Wacken is like a thread, and the jade is the eye of the needle. After passing through the thread goes to the jade under the corner of the wall. The jade is connected by an invisible dotted line. Under the quiet house of Lin's, no one but Lin Luoran sees this feast. The crisscrossed brilliance and the lit stars radiate their own light in the dark underground. The brilliance intertwines and rushes to the eye of the circle. As long as the jade is connected with the eye of the needle, Lin Luoran will know whether the enchantment is successful or not. In the basement, Lin Luoran's gestures are changing and her face is pale. She is trying to keep her gestures steady. She knows that the enchantment needs a huge amount of Wacken, but she doesn't expect it to be so serious. Maybe it is because the magic circle covers a large area and uses the spirit stones as the eye of the circle, which is beyond Lin Luoran's ability. Lin Luoran feels powerless after connecting so many jade. She is also a newborn calf who is not afraid of tigers. Every magic circle for protecting a mountain can only be set up with the power of a school. In the past, even if ordinary cultivators want to set up a magic circle, they will have the help of magic instruments such as magic circle flags to set up a small magic circle in front of the cave. Lin Luoran sets up a magic circle empty-handed, which is indeed too noisy for her personal ability. Lin Luoran is so stubborn that she refuses to admit defeat easily. It takes a long time for her Wacken to form a circle and transmit it to the eye of the circle. It seems that she has failed half tonight, but she still refuses to give up until the last moment. If she persists, she may not win, but if she gives up, she will probably fail. Lin Luoran is so stubborn that she directs the bead to absorb the Reiki in the jade and transmit it to her body continuously. The 3 nebulae in her pubic region seem to be infected by her urgency. Lin Luoran transforms Reiki twice faster than other cultivators of the same level. Now, with the high-speed rotation of the nebulae, Reiki is quickly transformed into Wacken. Lin Luoran grits her teeth and a strong light bursts out of her fingertips. The jade scattered around the chessboard like chess pieces feel her call and respond one after another. As the light flows, the Reiki inside the jade surges like a tide and rushes to the eye of the circle. It is like the National Day fireworks that Lin Luoran saw on TV one year. These sparkling lights in the underground are not as clear as they can be seen by her spiritual mind. They are so beautiful. They are running and playing. Under the guidance of Lin Luoran, they run to the core of the magic circle. With the last surge of Reiki from Lin Luoran, the leading Reiki finally touches the spirit-gathering stone in the core of the magic circle. The net of stars is finally woven. Lin Luoran falls down in the pile of jade and her pubic region is empty. She is waiting anxiously. Time is so slow that she has to count it in seconds. When the 15th second arrives, she is a little discouraged. When the 18th second arrives, the light starts to fade slowly. Did she fail? Although she has expected this result, Lin Luoran still can't hide her disappointment. After all, she has worked so hard. Lin Luoran closes her eyes tiredly and is reluctant to withdraw her spiritual mind. About 10 seconds later, when Lin Luoran is about to withdraw her spiritual mind, She finds that the jade on the ground flashes like a light bulb with bad contact. Oh, is there something wrong with her eyes? Lin Luoran is full of doubts. She sees the jade light up one by one. A layer of velvet light that ordinary people can't see connects the jade and finally converges to the eye of the circle. After waiting for a while, the light flashes and an invisible light cover appears over the Lin's house in a semicircle, covering the entire Lin's house. It works. Lin Luoran collapses on the ground and giggles for a long time while looking at the ceiling of the basement. This protection circle is so disgusting. It's like a computer that needs to be restarted for it to work. In the Lin's house, Mr. Lin's spiritual mind has just been activated and he can feel the changes under the ground. He has no idea what his daughter is doing. When the circle is completed, he first feels the change of Reiki. Although the Reiki gathering stone has just taken effect, Mr. Lin has already keenly noticed it. Cyan Little Fox, whose nest is on the small Huan Island, is the closest to the Reiki gathering stone. It has felt very comfortable since the stone was buried last night. Goldie is also very sensitive to the changes in the Lin's house. Maybe it and Cyan Little Fox will be more reluctant to leave the small Huan Island in the future. In fact, Lin Luoran feels a little guilty for Goldie. Although she gives it 2 boluses from time to time, compared with the peaceful and abundant Reiki environment in the secret land, the Reiki in the secular world is so thin that it can be ignored. This has an impact on Goldie's progress of cultivation. Fortunately, now she sees the hope of improvement. Everything is developing in a good direction. How can she not be happy? Lin Luoran falls into a deep sleep. It is a very comfortable night without any dreams that a little red snake hides in the shadow of a trash can on the folk street. The weather in the early spring of the our city is very good this year. The sun is warm. As the tourist card of the municipal government, the folk street with its alley as its selling point usually has a lot of tourists. In this kind of weather, there are even more tourists. The sun is very good and there are many girls in the our city who like to be beautiful. Some girls who are not afraid of the cold have changed into thin coats, short skirts, black stockings, and a pair of knee-high leather boots. They look warm and pretty, which has become the standard dress for many girls on the street. A girl with a ponytail looks to be in her early 20s. She is wearing a pair of boots and is strolling on the folk street holding her friend's hand. After eating the favorite skewers of the our city locals, the girl with a ponytail feels it is indecent to walk on the street with a bamboo stick in her hand, so she is going to throw the bamboo stick into the trash can by the roadside. People overlap, so the trash can is set in a place where there is no light, so as not to bring indecency to the scenic area. As soon as she throws the bamboo stick, she feels that her calf is pricked by a needle. She looks down and sees 2 small holes in her leather shoes. A red shadow flashes by quickly. The girl with a ponytail doesn't see the red shadow, so she thinks she accidentally scratches her leather shoes. She feels so unlucky. She walks back to her friend and complains all the way. After a few steps, she feels unbearable pain in her calf. In her friend's panicked eyes, the girl with a ponytail falls down softly. "Ruan, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me." After all, she is still young and hasn't experienced many things. Her friend is confused. The tourists around her don't dare to help her up. An old man with good eyesight points at her small feet and says, "Ouch, I'm afraid she was bitten by a snake. Call 120. Her friend looks at the direction he is pointing. Sure enough, a small stream of black blood is dripping from the 2 small holes in the leather shoes. Black blood, oh my God, I'm afraid it's a poisonous snake. There is a poisonous snake here. Step back. Little girl, call 120. The crowd has different opinions. Her friend finally dials the 120 emergency number. "Hey, someone was bitten by a snake. But we are at the folk street. It's a poisonous snake." In the midst of the chaos, some knowledgeable old people are secretly curious. It is only the new year. Why would a poisonous snake appear in the crowded tourist folk street? I have finally completed the chapters 10. I silently ask for a red ticket for my bookmark. For the 3rd anniversary of Zongheng, there is a roulette lottery event. A Bao draws twice and wins 3,500 points. He is very satisfied and recommends everyone to try their luck. Hee hee. Chapter 217. Rong feels that the air in Lin's house is fresher these days. He can smell the faint fragrance when he breathes. His mind is clear and he can even translate much faster. Mr. Lin's senses are more intuitive. He can feel the Reiki molecules around him in just a few days. The willow tree beside the lake has benefited from the wood Reiki. Its yellow leaves have grown to 3 inches long in a few days. Its branches hang down to the lake, which is really beautiful. Lin Luoran really wants to see the part that Rong has translated. However, she can't let go of the stone in her heart. She restrains her eagerness. There is one thing that she has to solve before she goes out to find the soul wood. Lin Luoran and her mother are going out for 2 days. Mrs. Lin, who has just mastered the 5 animals play, is good at it. She tells Lin Luoran to come back as soon as possible and doesn't nag her. After Lin Luoran goes out, Mr. Lin finds that his daughter is missing. He is about to ask her about it when he sees Mrs. Lin staring at the TV and clicking her tongue. Mr. Lin looks at the TV and sees that the plain-looking anchor of the Our City Channel 2 is reporting about the recent snake attacks in the city. It is said that more than 100 people were attacked. The hospital tried their best to save them. They are still in a coma and haven't been sent to the hospital. They're all, oh, what a sin. Mrs. Lin sees a shadow captured by a camera. It seems to be a small snake. She points it out to Mr. Lin. They seldom go out at home, but Luo Dong has to go to school. The red snake attacks are so horrible that they don't know when the government can solve it. Mr. Lin thinks for a while and says, "It's scary. Since our daughter is not here, we'd better not go out these days. As for Luo Dong, we can still drive him to school every day." Lin Luoran's parents have heard about the magic circle of Lin's house. They believe in their daughter's ability. People are in a panic outside. It seems that it is safer to stay at home. As for Lin Luoran, she has booked the earliest flight and is ready to fly to Taiyuan. She has put some things aside, but she has not forgotten them. Since she has chosen to do it, Lin Luoran must be more cautious. Jin Wutai, In Putuo, Tongame, Taijiahua. These 12 characters were easy to remember, but they pointed out the 4 famous Buddhist mountains in Huaxia. Lin Luoran gets off the plane in Taiyuan. As soon as she gets out of the airport, she sees some young people driving luxury cars passing by. Some even whistle at her. This was a province with a lot of coal mines. She had only traveled for a short while, but she had already deeply felt the gap between the rich and the poor, which was more serious than the rumors. However, this was just a small matter for the purpose of her trip. She didn't take a taxi. Instead, she took out a cap and wore it. She chose to go to Wutai County with ordinary tourists. It couldn't be considered as deliberately keeping a low profile. She didn't ride on her sword, nor did she ride on her condor. She just hoped that this trip could cover up some traces so that no one would be able to trace her. She arrives at Wutai County in the afternoon. She finds a small hotel where she doesn't need to check in and takes a shower. Then she hurries to Taihui town, which is 70 or 80 kilometers away. Ordinary people are not familiar with this small town, but it is the center of Wutai Mountain. Since the Eastern Han Dynasty, Buddhists have built the Fu Ling Jiao Temple here. It is a pilgrimage place for many Buddhists. The original De Fu Ling Jiao Temple has been renovated several times after the change of dynasties. Now it has been renamed Xian Tong Temple. Lin Luoran is going to this tourist attraction. Wutai Mountain has a great difference in altitude, and the average temperature is only a few degrees all year round. Lin Luoran admires the tourists who go to Xian Tong Temple with her. There are many gray-haired old people. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether they are here for sightseeing or devout believers. Of course, she doesn't believe in Buddhism. However, Master Mu said that there are Buddhist cultivators here. Lin Luoran used to think that Buddhist cultivators have to cultivate themselves in the deep mountains like cultivators. However, Master Mu says that Buddhist cultivators seek the power of faith and use the holy spells. They are different from cultivators. Buddhist cultivators are Buddhas in the secular world. Wutai Mountain is full of incense. There is no reason why Buddhist cultivators don't choose to stay here. Lin Luoran follows the tourists all the way to the temple. Unlike the Taoist temples in the mountains of central Sichuan, which were hidden in the green mountains and clear waters. Xiantong Temple stretched out there. The sky was blue, and the yellow soil was exposed. It was freezing cold, and a few old trees with few leaves were the only decorations under the sky. There are many pilgrims, and there are novice monks to receive them. However, it is almost night, so most of the tourists leave after a walk. Only Lin Luoran slowly walks to the famous bronze hall. The bronze hall is carved with flowers and green flowers, and the kuei protects the dragon. It is dazzling. It is said that Wanli built it for his mother. If what Master Mu said is true, it is probably a rumor. The bronze bell in front of her weighs thousands of pounds. When it is knocked, the sound can be heard all over the mountain. The sky is getting dark and there is no one around the bell. Lin puts her hand on the bell and knocks it at a strange frequency. Creak! The thick bronze wall is moving aside. The sound is so light that ordinary people can't hear it without Lin Luoran's hearing. She hears two novice monks talking about their evening class. They are walking towards her. Lin Luoran rushes into the bronze hall and disappears behind the bronze wall. Puji Master, I am Lin Luoran, an individual cultivator. I want to see you. Lin Luoran is a little nervous if they don't want to see her. She has no choice but to open the door first and then ask to see them. Master Mu said that the place where Puji Master lives is behind the bronze wall. In fact, it is isolated from the Xiantong Temple by the holy spell. The world inside is where the real Buddhist cultivators live. Patroness, I am Jishio. A young novice monk appears in the twilight. He is dressed in plain clothes and shoes and has a delicate face. He is not surprised by Lin Luoran's arrival and he looks peaceful. Jishio is a special Buddhist name. Master Jishio, my daughter wants to see Puji Master. Lin Luoran returns his salute and Jishio accepts it calmly. His mouth is a little soft. Puji Master is having an evening class. Patroness, why don't you follow me to visit this place first? Although they are not on the same path, Jishio doesn't dare to underestimate the person who knows the secret place of Buddhist cultivators and knocks the bronze bell by himself. Lin Luoran nods and says yes. The gate of the bronze hall slowly closes. She has already walked into another world in the bronze hall. On the black brick road, she can see a few Bodhi trees occasionally. The architectural style here looks no different from that of the Xiantong Temple. However, Lin Luoran has to be picky. This is a place for self-cultivation that Master Mu said was built by the holy spell. The courtyards are overlapping. It is spacious for ordinary people, but a little simple for a school. Jishio leads her forward slowly. There is a faint fragrance on his body. There is a chanting sound in the night. It must be the evening class that Jishio said. The young novice monk must have been chanting before. Did she disturb him? In the night, the sound of chanting is a bit touching. Lin Luoran stands outside the hall and can't help but be fascinated. Outside the hall, a jade hairpin flower blooms out of season. Lin Luoran suddenly realizes that the fragrance on Jishio's body is probably the mixture of jade hairpin and sandalwood. There is no magnificent Mahavira hall or brilliant golden roof here. If she doesn't feel an unknown power fluctuation on Jishio who leads her here, she will suspect that she has just entered a small mountain temple by mistake. Lin Luoran suddenly feels a little regretful. Is it really right to disturb such a place for her own selfishness? The sound of chanting fades. Novice monks wearing the same clothes as Jishio and monks of the same color come out one after another. They sincerely worship Buddha and don't know that there is a guest. What's more, it's a beautiful female guest. Not every novice acolyte has Jishio's personal ability. Seeing Lin Luoran looking up at the flowers, two young novice acolytes blush and whisper, Amitba, and walk by quickly. Amitba, you are still young, but you have already entered the laying foundation period. You really have a promising future. An old monk in a gray robe says the name of Buddha. Lin Luoran straightens her clothes and solemnly bows. Chapter 218. Master, Buddhism cultivators have been living in seclusion for many years. Have you ever thought about coming back? Buddha is merciful. Now there is a great merit. It's up to you whether you want to continue living in seclusion or not. My daughter has come here out of selfishness, but because I can empathize with you, I can't help but feel pity. Lin Luoran is talking with Puji in the tea room. The old monk looks kind. Lin Luoran doesn't believe that Puji is not interested in what she says. In the past, Buddhism was prosperous and there were many temples in the country. That was the world of Buddhism cultivators. Lin Luoran is a rookie. The competition between Buddhism and Taoism means nothing to her. Taoism focuses on perception and Reiki, while Buddhism focuses on faith and the power of will. The two are fundamentally different. Why do they have to suppress each other? Now the world of cultivation is declining and Reiki is decreasing. Lin Luoran doesn't know why Buddhism cultivators are still willing to live in seclusion. If they want the power of will, they can't do anything. How can they get faith? After drinking tea and analyzing the power, Jixio walks Lin Luoran out. The bronze wall is still closed. To be honest, Lin Luoran doesn't know whether she has succeeded or not. Under the Bodhi tree, Puji comes out from nowhere. He is very respectful to the little monk Jixio. Jixio's robe is blown by the night wind. The little monk catches a Bodhi leaf and suddenly smiles. Puji, what she said is reasonable. Let's do as she says. Puji hesitates. After a while, he nods and says yes. If Lin Luoran were here, she would definitely be shocked. Puji is an eminent monk of the same generation as Master Mu. It is very strange that he is so respectful to Jixio, who is still a little monk. However, Lin Luoran can't be here. She is now flying between mountains in the twilight. As soon as she is out of Chuan province, there are not many people in Huaxia who can detect her personal ability. She doesn't need to worry about it like she did in Mount Wutai. Next, Lin Luoran will go to Putuo and Jiuhua. Putuo is also one of the 4 holy places of Buddhism. As for Amei, which is closest to our city, Lin Luoran has already given up. Amei is closer to Qingqing. Lin Luoran is still worried about Taoist Huizhu of Qingqing Taoist Temple. This is the information I have compiled. Please give it to School Sister Lin. Rong Dong Lin hands a stack of papers to Mrs. Lin. He looks tired. Mr. and Mrs. Lin both think that Rong Dong Lin is a nice young man. Rong Dong Lin is diligent in his work and gets along well with Luo Dong. Seeing that Rong Dong Lin's eyes are red, Mrs. Lin knows that Rong Dong Lin hasn't had a rest these days. Since Luoran is not here, Mrs. Lin doesn't want to keep Rong Dong Lin, so she takes the files and sends him out. As soon as they leave Lin's house, Rong's old Nokia rings. It's Yen Feng. He wants to visit Kai Liang's girlfriend. Lao Sen's girlfriend was bitten by a snake a few days ago. She has been in the hospital for a few days and hasn't woken up yet. Rong has been there once. Kai Liang looks so pitiful with his unkempt beard. Rong doesn't have the heart to see him like this. Although he is also sleepy, there is no reason for him to refuse Yen Feng's request. When he is still thinking about which bus to take, Luo Dong sticks his head out of the door. Brother Dong Lin, where are you going? Can I go too? Rong pats him on the shoulder. Have you finished your homework? Luo Dong nods. Rong has always been accommodating to him. Luo Dong is sure that Brother Dong Lin will take him out to play. The two of them turn out of the alley and walk to the bus stop. A red snake hiding in the folk custom street is eager to have a try. The door of the bus is closed. It jumps up and sits on the roof of the bus. The sun at noon makes it uncomfortable. The little red snake sticks out its tongue and curls into a ball. Goldie is very powerful. It will be discovered if it gets too close to Lin's house. The little red snake has been hiding in the streets for a long time. It feels that its chance is finally here. The bus is moving slowly. Luo Dong and Rong are talking and laughing. Mr. Lin drives back and wonders, where is Luo Dong? He keeps saying that he wants to go out to play. I'll take him to the square later. Mrs. Lin goes to call Luo Dong. She finds that Luo Dong is not in his room. Mrs. Lin is a little worried. Did he go out with Rong Dong Lin? It's been a mess out there these days. What should we do? Luo Dong and Luo Dong don't know about the danger. I have to go out and find him. Mr. Lin is also worried. He comforts Mrs. Lin, don't be so unlucky. Our city is so big. Why did they run into that snake? Rong is a good boy. He will send Luo Dong back. Mrs. Lin feels that Mr. Lin is right. She stops worrying for the time being. However, in the next 2 hours, Mrs. Lin feels that her eyelids are twitching. She has a feeling that something bad is going to happen. Luodong doesn't know that his parents are worried about him. He is a smart boy. Although he is going to visit Rong's classmate, he still buys some fruits and tonics and goes to visit Sister Ruan, who is still in a coma. Sister Ruan is bitten by a snake. There are many patients like this in the hospital. Luodong is scared when he sees Sister Ruan lying on the bed with black spots on her face. People are crying in the corridor of the hospital. Sister Ruan's parents also cry. Luodong feels sorry for them. Where did the snake come from? If Sister Ruan is here, she will be able to deal with it. Luodong wants to call Lin Luoran and ask her to help Sister Ruan. He has to catch the snake no matter what. However, he is worried that Lin Luoran is doing something important. He doesn't want Sister Ruan's family and Donglin to wait for him. Luodong doesn't want to ask. Rong and Yen Feng can only say some comforting words. They don't know if Kai Liangzi can hear them because he is in a trance. Rong and Yen are depressed when they walk out of the hospital with Luodong. Hey, if anything happens to Ruan, Liangzi will be sad. It is said that the hospital can't do anything about the snake's venom. Yen Feng is not optimistic about Luodong's condition. This topic is too heavy. Rong can only sigh. Yen Feng smiles. Lung, let's go. I will take you to flirt with a girl. Being close to a younger brother is the same as being close to an older sister. Yen Feng is good at scheming and he is very enthusiastic about Luodong. Rong doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yen Feng calls a taxi and puts the two nerds in the car. He sits in the front seat. The red shadow jumps up and sits on the roof of the taxi. The sun is not so hot. The red snake is more energetic. It stretches its body on the roof of the taxi and spits out its tongue. The people in the car don't know what is going on. The passers-by and the driver are shocked. Yen Feng was still talking about a certain sushi restaurant on Chuanxi Road when the exclamations and pointers of the passers-by finally made the people in the car feel that something was wrong. The driver thinks that there is something wrong with the car. He discusses with Yen Feng and the others whether they should stop by the square in case of any accidents. When they are dozens of meters away from the square, a red tail reaches out from the roof of the car. Luodong is shocked. Donglin. It is a snake. As soon as they come out of the hospital, Yen Feng remembers the snake that threatened the city recently. Sir, don't stop the car. Drive faster and throw the snake off. Yen Feng and Rong are anxious because of Luodong in the car. However, the driver is not as courageous as them. He is scared when he sees the red tail. He doesn't care about the traffic laws. He pulls the car into the square and slams on the brakes. Yen Feng and the others are still in a daze. The driver pushes the door open and tries to escape. As soon as he moves his head out, the red snake bites him in the face. The driver covers his face and falls down. Yen Feng gasps, "Let's go." Rong Donglin opens the door and helps Luodong to get off the car. Yen Feng follows closely behind. The little red snake looks at the three of them with its cold eyes. It doesn't do anything to the taxi driver. The people in the square had long been stunned by the sudden appearance of the taxi. When they saw the little red snake on the ground, they all screamed and scattered. More and more people in the city have been bitten by snakes these days. People are scared when they talk about snakes. Seeing the red snake bite the driver and make him fall down, they are all scared. Protected by Yen Feng and Rong, Luodong runs in the crowd. The young boy feels the wind blowing in his ears and his heart is beating fast. The red snake bites the driver who gets off the car first. The three of them have just escaped from the gates of hell. Luodong is only 12 years old. Even though he has seen a lot of incredible things, he is still scared at this critical moment. Damn it! Why does the snake target us? Yen Feng looks back. The red snake has caught up with them. Coincidentally, it is in their direction. Donglin, let's split up and lead it away. Yen Feng is not a bold man. He is just an ordinary college student with a glib tongue. However, at this moment, they have to consider the safety of the child. Rong nods in agreement. As soon as the three of them split up, they find that the red snake is chasing Luodong. Rong has no choice but to turn back. Yen Feng spits on the ground and pulls Luodong away. The snake's target is Luodong. The two of them hold Luodong's hand and run away. People who are running for their lives consciously draw a line between them and the snake. Gradually, only the three of them are left in the square. Behind them is a high wall. There is no way for them to escape. What the hell? Brat, did you raid its nest? Why is it so apologetic towards us? Yen Feng looks around. His eyes light up when he sees the small tree in the garden. Soon he pulls down the wooden stick that is protecting the tree. Lin Luodong's face is pale. He doesn't know why the snake keeps chasing him. He also takes a stick like Yen Feng. Rong Donglin looks at the red snake vigilantly. The three of them each hold a stick. They feel more confident. The red snake sticks out its tongue in front of them. The three of them lean against the wall and feel much safer. Yen Feng comforts Luodong, "Don't be afraid. It's just a small snake. We can deal with it if we work together." Small? The red snake seemed to understand Yen Feng's words. With a series of crackling sounds of bones dislocating and expanding, the little red snake expanded against the wind. At a speed visible to the naked eye, it turned into a giant snake that was several feet long and as thick as a water bucket. The snake lowers its triangular head and stares at the three of them. Its stinky saliva drips on the cement, making smoke rise. Some brave people who have run to the square look back and see the huge red snake. They swallow their saliva. Is this a science fiction movie? Seeing that the snake doesn't attack the three of them, some brave people watch from the other side of the street. The TV reporter is the boldest. He arrives even faster than the police car. Once the red snake's body grew larger, it could no longer suppress its aura and cultivation. Feeling its monstrous anger, Xiao Jin, who had been napping on the island, suddenly opened its eyes. The golden eagle senses the direction and flies to the sky, shaking off a lot of bamboo leaves. Mrs. Lin sees Goldie's action from the window. She wants to ask what's wrong with the eagle today. However, the TV series on RTV2 suddenly stops. The picture changes. The host says in an excited and scared voice, "Ladies and gentlemen, you are now watching RTV2. We are going to show." The camera changes to the square. Mrs. Lin is startled by the snake. She pats her chest to calm herself down. Suddenly, she notices that the figures in the slit of the snake are very familiar. Oh no, it's Luodong and Rong. But Mrs. Lin breaks the fruit plate on the table in a panic. Dad, hurry up. Watch the TV. Mr. Lin stares at the TV for a while. Then he turns around and runs outside. Mrs. Lin can't catch him. She is anxious and angry. After a while, she remembers to call Luoran. Luoran's phone is turned off. Mrs. Lin collapses on the ground. Chapter 219. In the square, although it is only the beginning of March, Luodong still feels thirsty. It has only been a few minutes, but he feels like he has been confronting the giant snake for years. His hands holding the wooden stick can't help shaking. Rong and Yen Feng are older than Luodong, but they are also ordinary college students. They have accepted the scientific worldview and are atheists. It is the first time for them to see such a giant snake. They are scared and confused. Are they facing a biochemical monster in an American movie or a monster in the Huaxia legend? Compared to the excitement of the outdoor host, only the three of them knew the helplessness and fear of not being able to retreat. The giant snake seems to be teasing them. It flicks its tail and wriggles its body from time to time, but it doesn't hurt them. TV2 in the our city has a wide coverage in the local area. What's more, this is not a groundless story. It is a real picture from the scene. Not only in the downtown area, but also in the surrounding counties and cities. Xing Tian is in a meeting. Hearing the sudden exclamation outside his office, he asks his secretary to go out and see what is going on. After whispering in his secretary's ear, he can't help but come out to see what is going on. He has never seen a monster in such a long time of cultivation, so he is very curious. Xing Tian frowns when he sees Rong's face in the HD camera. If he only sees Rong, he is still thinking about whether he should get involved or not. However, when he sees Luodong, Zheng unconsciously clenches his hands. This is a big gamble. If he wins, he will not only solve the problem between him and Lin Luodong, but also have a close relationship with the Lin family. However, if he loses, he will die. After thinking for a few seconds, Zheng Tian runs out and knocks down the documents on the desk. Cultivation is not easy. In fact, nothing is easy in the world. Of course, as an employee of a state-owned enterprise, his father is also taking a gamble when he decides to go to the sea. Zheng Tian is so proud that he chooses to take this gamble. He is also in the innate realm, which is different from Mr. Lin and Baojia. Zheng's family spent a lot of money and resources on him to reach the innate realm. His aptitude was not very good, and he could not meet the standards of the few cultivation sects to accept disciples. Therefore, his external skills were also very good. At this time, he did not choose to drive. Instead, he ran in the traffic that had begun to paralyze in this district of Chengdu. Today is the weekend. Luodong and Rong can go out to play, but Huang has to pick up garbage with a bag. He had almost paid the rent, but he was still struggling to make ends meet. Huang Weijin had no weekends to rest. Also, because it is the weekend, Huang Weijin has a good harvest today. He has brought home several bags of garbage. At this time, he is carrying the bags to the square. There are many tourists here on the weekend, so he should have a better harvest. A group of people is gathering in front of a clothing store. Hearing the exclamations, Huang can't help but glance at the TV. Huang feels that someone has punched him. The face is that of Luodong, the boy who always comes to his class to please him and annoys him. What a nuisance! Huang Weijin walked on expressionlessly. After 2 steps, he couldn't help touching his canvas bag. Since they were classmates, he couldn't just leave them in the lurch. He finds an excuse to convince himself, but he ignores the fact that Luodong is not an ordinary classmate to him. No matter how indifferent he is, Huang is just a 12-year-old boy. Luodong stood up to help him and was beaten by Ma Ming, which affects him more than he thinks. Huang Weijin carries the snakeskin bag and runs to the square. The office building of Fortune House is not far from the square. Even Goldie can feel the provocation of the giant snake, so Xen Yuanping can feel it more clearly. If the monster is refined in the blood pool, it will be a great tonic even for Xen Yuanping. She will not give it up easily. Fortune House is close to the square, and Xen Yuanping has the highest level of cultivation among them, so she is the first one to arrive at the square. She wants to subdue the monster quietly. However, when she sees that it is the Lin family who are surrounded and many people are rushing in this direction, Xen Yuanping smiles. She finds it interesting and is ready to watch a free drama. She doesn't show up immediately, but stands on a big tree. Goldie arrives in an instant, only a few seconds later than Xen Yuanping. It can sense Xen Yuanping's presence. It feels uncomfortable about this human being. However, looking at Luodong on the ground, it hovers in the air for a while and then lands. When the wings of the golden hawk are fully opened, they are 7 or 8 meters long, casting a huge shadow on the ground. Luodong, who has been feeling thirsty, feels the darkness above his head. Then he looks up and sees Goldie hovering in the air. He suddenly feels relieved. Isn't this the bird of prey raised by the Lin family? Rong clenches the stick in his hand. He is not sure if the golden hawk can help them get out of trouble. Yen Feng swallows after a short moment of astonishment. The mysterious hawk of the state of Huaxia? Oh my God, is the hawk here to save us? The passers-by standing far away are more certain than Yen Feng, including the anchor of the RTV2. He was excited when he saw the snake, but now he wants to go home and worship his ancestors. The mysterious hawk of the state of Huaxia. Dear viewers, this is the mysterious hawk of the state of Huaxia that disappeared in the Zhongshan mausoleum some time ago. Is it here to save us? Oh my God, the snake is attacking the hawk. When the giant snake saw Goldie, its eyes turned red. Goldie didn't land on the ground immediately. Instead, the giant snake curled up into a ball and leaped into the air with its tail. It bit at Goldie's wing. At the same time, the snake swings its tail and breaks a lamppost. The lamppost falls on the 3 people by the wall. The police car finally arrives late. The scene is in chaos. Goldie screams and flaps its wings. The 3 people roll away like gourds on the ground. The three people are more or less injured, but they are out of the fighting range of the hawk and the snake. Bang, bang, bang. The continuous bullets hit the snake. There are several bloody holes on its body, which makes the snake even angrier. It turns around and runs to the police car. Luo Dong and the other two people are also running in this direction. Damn it, we are so close to getting out of the square. Goldie grabbed the tail of the giant snake. Its long body rushed to the side of the police car and bit off the head of a policeman. The headless body walks a few steps and falls beside Yen Feng. Seeing the blood coming out of the neck, the glib college student feels weak in the knees. The headless body walks a few steps and falls beside Yen Feng. Seeing the blood coming out of the neck, the glib college student feels weak in the knees. The crowd scatters. The tail of the snake is caught. It tries to turn around and bite Goldie. However, Goldie sweeps its hard wings and the snake's neck is bleeding. Let's go! Rong stumbles to help Yen Feng. The giant snake is about to attack the three of them again after being defeated by Goldie. Goldie is about to fly up by grabbing the tail of the giant snake. Xan Yuan Ping smiles on the tree. A black lotus appears in her hand and a mist is released silently. Goldie feels powerless. He flaps his wings but can't fly. The hawk's claws sink into the flesh of the snake, but the snake is not affected by the mist. It feels that its tail is loosened and it runs to the three people with Goldie. How dare you! The vines of iron thorns are strong. Mr. Lin jumps over the roofs of many cars and entangles the head of the snake with the support of the statue of the great man on the square. Dead. Luo Dong yells. Rong holds Yen Feng with his eyes wide open. What's wrong with the world? It's okay that the bird raised by the Lin family is so powerful, but why is Mr. Lin, who is always smiling, also a master of martial arts? He never thought that the word cultivator would appear in the world. He never thought that after today, the unknown cultivators in the state of Huaxia would appear in front of the world again like in the ancient times. Among countless coincidences, some secrets can no longer be concealed. Chapter 220. Xing Tian follows Huang Weijin. Unlike Mr. Lin who can control iron thorns, Xing Tian's weapon is a soft sword made by the Wen family of Zhu Mountain. He can draw it out from his belt when needed. Even masters of martial arts can use it easily, let alone Xing Tian, a cultivator in the congenital realm. Xing still knows to keep a low profile. He pulls a piece of his shirt to cover his face. When he rushes out, he says, "Go!" He pushes Luo Dong, Yen Feng and Rong away. Only Rong recognizes that Xing Tian's voice and figure are similar to the young master of Zheng's family in the bar. Rong Donglin follows Zheng's order and runs out of the square with Luo Dong and Yen Feng. They know that Luo Dong is the target of the giant snake. They have seen the policeman's head being bitten off, so they don't dare to get other people into trouble. They just run to the open space. Xing Tian has already jumped to the side of the snake with the tip of his sword. Mr. Lin can't help Goldie all of a sudden. The iron thorns are extremely tough, but Mr. Lin obviously lacks actual combat experience. He didn't take advantage of the situation to attack when he was in the most advantageous position. Now, he can only barely hold the giant snake and can't deal with it. Xing Tian's sword moves like a rainbow. He moves in the air and stabs the snake's right eye with the soft sword in his hand. The flexible tip of the sword is like a snake. However, Xing Tian is dealing with a real snake. Can he succeed? It only takes a few seconds, but it gathers the expectations of countless people. The captain of the police force asks for more police. When some people join the fight, he has already ordered to stop shooting. He doesn't want to hurt the innocent people. At this moment, everyone, including the noisy presenter, is holding his breath in the corner. The naked eye can only capture the movement for a moment. The camera with the red light on faithfully records the sword move that is remembered by countless boys and girls in Huaxia. In fact, at this moment, Xing Tian, who is quite ridiculous with his face covered, puts his future on the line. Xing Tian not only recognizes Lin Luodong and Rong Donglin, but more importantly, the one who is trying to stop the snake monster is the father of Master Lin. Xing Tian feels that he has been injected with something called chicken blood. Xing Tian is amazed by this sword strike. It is beyond his usual level. The giant snake keeps twisting. Xing Tian's wrist is steady and powerful. Wherever the tip of the sword goes, the air seems to be broken. Poochie! With the dull sound of a sharp weapon cutting through flesh, the soft sword made of refined iron pierced the snake monster's weakest point, its right eye, under everyone's expectations. When the snake blood splattered everywhere, whether it was the people involved in the square, the police, or the audience watching the live broadcast in front of the TV, they all cheered in unison. That was great. Xing Tian also feels great. Inside the snake's eyes is the brain. No matter how powerful the strange snake is, as long as he twirls his sword and smashes its brain, will it still be alive? Xing Tian's wrist shakes, and the smile on his face freezes the next second. Damn it, his flexible sword was stuck in the snake bone. The giant snake turns its head and spits out a stream of yellow gas at Xing Tian. Xing Tian knows how powerful the snake is, so he has to let go of the handle of the soft sword immediately. He does a backflip and falls on the ground. The snake blood spills all over the ground. Xan Yuanping feels that this scene is so boring. She is clearly standing at the top of the tree, and the camera only shows the big tree. Xan Yuanping is not there. Xing Tian bites his lips, but he can't stop the black blood from flowing out of the corner of his mouth. He has retreated quickly, but he is still poisoned. Everyone tells him to run, but his father is still fighting with the snake. How can Luo Dong run away? Behind the police car, Luo Dong doesn't move at all. Let alone Rong, even Yen Feng won't leave a kid like him behind. The three of them are watching the situation in the square. They are happy when they see Xing Tian's amazing sword. However, when they see Xing Tian's flexible sword is still stuck in the snake's eye, they are all worried. Huang Weijian touches the mud on his face and rushes out from behind the police car. He stares at Luo Dong and says seriously, "Why don't you run?" Luo Dong takes a while to recognize that it is his classmate. Although he doesn't know why Huang Weijian is here, he still pushes him. "It's too dangerous here. Huang Weijian, get out of here." The silent boy doesn't seem to hear Luo Dong's urging. He asks impatiently, "Luo Dong, why don't you run?" Rong and Yen Feng can't help but look at the boy who is obsessed with the same question. Luo Dong suddenly realizes that it is Huang Weijian who is talking to him. Huang Weijian, who didn't respond no matter how he tried to approach him in class. "My father is still there. I can't leave." Luo Dong points to his father, who is supporting himself with a single tree. His eyes are full of stubbornness. Huang Weijian's eyes are hidden under his bangs. He just whispers, "So troublesome." Xan Yuanping is high up. She can see the fear, joy, and disappointment of these people. She thinks of her right hand, which was broken by Lin Luoran, and it is still uncomfortable for a novice. She raises her right hand, and when it falls, a black gas invisible to the naked eye cuts the iron thorns like a sharp blade. Mr. Lin feels that his hand is loosened. He feels bad and throws out a handful of seeds. However, it is obviously too late. The snake doesn't rush to Luo Dong immediately. Instead, it turns around and tries to bite Mr. Lin, the annoying human who has been pestering it. The situation is extremely critical. Besides Goldie, who is already weak, there is also the silent boy who is yelling for trouble. Goldie feels that some kind of power deep in its blood is clamoring, hitting its meridians over and over again. Its wings are shining, and its claws seem to be full of strength. Goldie firmly grabs the snake's tail again and drags it back. Amidst the policeman's cries of "Little friend, it's dangerous over there," the shabbily dressed teenager leaped out of the crowd and ran towards the snake monster. As the teenager ran, he rummaged through his canvas bag and pulled out a large, bald pen. It looked as ridiculous as he was. The wind blows up the boy's bangs. His eyes, which have been covered, are dark and deep. Mr. Lin glances at them and feels that the boy looks like someone. Who does he look like? Huang Weijian doesn't care about other people's thoughts. He just takes out a bare pen and writes in the air. While people are still guessing what kind of talisman he is writing, the boy reads slowly in his childish voice, "Goose, goose, goose, singing to the sky." At the beginning, people still feel that the boy is pretending to be weak. However, when Huang reads the poem, The mysterious feeling is completely destroyed. Luodong doesn't know what is wrong with his classmate. The courageous outdoor host has prepared a wonderful speech, but he only utters a few words. He doesn't know what to say. Yen Feng is so scared that his legs are weak. He swallows and murmurs, "The new generation really excels the old. Am I going to die on the beach? How old is he? He is so pretentious." Huang is not pretentious. Only Xen Yuanping, who is standing on the tree, can see the power of his pen. "Kids nowadays are so interesting. Why don't you come and play with me?" As soon as Huang Weijian says the word wave of red palm pushing clear waves, an attack is formed at the end of the pen. Although he has never fought with it, he is confident in himself. He believes that he can stop the snake monster even if he can't kill it with one blow. Chapter 221. While Mrs. Lin is calling Lin Luoran, she is looking down from the plane. The plane slows down and is ready to land. It has only been 10 minutes since the appearance of the snake monster on the square. Lin Luoran starts the plane as soon as she gets off. Her secretary reminds her that there are many missed calls. They are all from her mother. Lin Luoran is worried. Is something wrong at home? Just as she was about to call back, the passengers who got off the plane together gathered in twos and threes, pointing at the huge electronic signboard in the airport. "Honey, is this Tianfu Square in the R City? Is the movie shot here?" "Shot here? It doesn't look like it. That's the anchor of RTV2. Is it a live broadcast instead of a movie?" "Nonsense." Lin Luoran looks at the screen and her phone almost falls to the ground. On the square, Zheng Tian's sword is amazing, but it fails. Goldie's claws are hanging down. It is obviously not normal. What makes Lin Luoran's pupils shrink is that the person who entangles the snake's head with iron thorns is her father. At the same time, Lin Luodong, Rong Donglin, and Yen Feng's faces flash through the camera. The red snake is still alive and has come back for revenge. Damn it. Lin Luoran stomps her feet. Compared with the safety of her family, Lin Luoran doesn't care about the former. She doesn't even think of setting up a mini-world. She summons the bright sword and casts the sword-riding spell. Even though she is standing behind the crowd, the bursting sword light still attracts all the attention of the passengers and the airport ground crew. The shape of the aqua-blue flying sword was smooth. It seemed to be a female passenger who had been on the plane with them before. Unexpectedly, she flew into the blue sky on a flying sword in public. In just a few breaths of time, the woman on the sword had already disappeared into the depths of the white clouds. Those who had personally witnessed this scene looked at each other in astonishment and whispered to each other, their voices gradually becoming louder. They need an explanation. What is wrong with the world? The tip of Huang Weijian's brush is spiritual. It moves like a dragon and sets up an inescapable net around the snake monster. Although ordinary people could not see the spiritual lock, they could see the snake monster lowering its head and twisting its body in a small area, as if it was trapped. Mr. Lin is overjoyed at first. The iron thorn seeds he scatters quickly turn into vines that can't be cut off by any sword and add another shackle to the twisting giant snake. In this way, the snake seems to be firmly trapped by them. Mr. Lin is a little tired, but Goldie flaps its wings and comes to him. The golden light on its body shrinks. It seems that something is wrong. The on-location host was beaming with joy as he introduced the actions of these masters. The police captain waved his hand and ordered, "Aim at the target and shoot." Bullets have no eyes. Although they are standing on the side, they are not far enough. Mr. Lin is about to pull Huang Weijian away, but he finds that this young boy who can trap the snake monster is staring in a certain direction like a statue. Mr. Lin follows his gaze and sees a big banyan tree. There is nothing strange about it. Hearing the sound of shooting, Mr. Lin has to pull the boy away. Huang Weijian holds the pen tightly in his right hand. His eyes covered by his bangs are alert. "Come out. I know you are there." He shouts at the banyan tree and points at it with the pen. What's wrong with the boy? Is a banyan tree worthy of him being so vigilant? Luodong doesn't know what's wrong with his classmate. The on-location host has a keen sense of news. He directs his companions to point the camera in the direction of the banyan tree. Huang Weijin is extremely nervous like an angry cat. Suddenly, there is a burst of laughter from the empty banyan tree. The voice is not loud, but it spreads to every corner of Tianfu Square. Kid, didn't your teacher teach you that it is impolite to stare at your sister like this? After the laughter stops, Xan Yuanping in black suddenly appears on the treetop. Now she has the same facial features as the special assistant of Fortune House, but she has a completely different temperament. Anyway, all the staff of Fortune House who are watching the show in front of the TV can't recognize Xan Yuanping except for Ellie. Dead. The Lin family will never forget this woman. She is the reason why Lin Luoran disappeared that year. Mr. Lin takes 2 steps forward and holds Luodong in his arms. Uncle, this is... Rong is confused to see the vigilance of the father and son. Mr. Lin didn't look so serious when they were fighting the giant snake. Mr. Lin's voice is calm. She is the enemy of our family. Mr. Lin doesn't hate the woman in black because Zhou Yaowei injured him when Lin Luoran was not there. It's just that he can't forget what happened when his daughter was kidnapped by the woman and she suffered a lot in the past 3 years to escape from her captivity. Yes, she is bad. Luodong nods hard. Even though he is young, he will never forget the 3 years when he was at home. Great enemy? Yan Feng was speechless. The Lin family was so powerful, yet there was still someone who could make them feel as if they were facing a great enemy. Wouldn't this black-clothed woman be even more? Yan Feng shuddered. He had previously been amazed by such a domineering woman, but now he was scared half to death. However, the mysterious bird of the state of Huaxia belongs to the family of the campus bell. Yan Feng is even more glad that he didn't have any ideas about the school bell. Goldie is standing beside him coldly. Yan Feng is just an ordinary person, so he is curious and scared. Xing Tian has been standing here for a long time. The snake venom is running wild in his body. He is afraid that if he speaks, the poisonous blood will come out. Therefore, he doesn't take off the ridiculous shirt strip and just looks at the scene calmly. They are talking in low voices. The captain of the police team instructs his men to shoot holes all over the body of the giant snake. The snake monster is dying and the snake blood is all over the ground. They all turn their attention to the woman in black who suddenly appears. The young man who trapped the snake is so nervous. This woman may not be a good person. Xan Yuanping, who is being pointed at by dozens of guns, naturally doesn't care about these ordinary policemen. She still stares at Huang Weijin and says with a smile, "Boy, why don't you follow your sister?" Huang Weijin smiles and interrupts Xian's words. "Sister? Auntie, I am an orphan. Don't pretend to be my sister." The teenager's childish voice is very serious, as if he is kind enough to correct Xan Yuanping's wrong way of addressing him. However, it makes all the nervous people at the scene happy. The woman in black's face immediately changes. What a child says. There is probably no young and beautiful woman in the world who is willing to be called auntie, even if she is old enough to be someone's grandmother. Xan Yuanping's face is very gloomy. She stares at Huang Weijin with a hint of killing intent. The captain of the police team is also afraid of the woman in black who is standing on the tree crown. Seeing Xan Yuanping's expression changes, he can't help but worry for the young man in the square. Xan Yuanping seems to think of something. Her skirt moves without wind and she walks down from the tree crown. She doesn't jump down or jump down. It seems that there is an invisible staircase winding under her feet. She is really walking down step by step. If this kind of appearance is not shocking enough, the black lotus under her feet flashes every time she takes a step. The fragrance is so tempting. In the eyes of ordinary people, it is really a miracle. The announcer stuttered, "Step by step, blooming lotuses?" Audience, today there is not only a snake, but also a swordsman, a druid who can control plants, a little poet, and a mysterious woman with lotus step by step. The host is so excited that he doesn't even have time to wipe the sweat on his forehead. He has a hunch that after today, his career will usher in a new peak. Looking at the colleagues who have arrived one after another, who are also in a remote place, hurriedly setting up the camera to find the angle, the host becomes more and more excited. These colleagues are all behind him, and RTV2 is the first one. While the host is still excited, he suddenly hears the sound of glass breaking. No, it is more than one, it is a series of broken glasses. Did the police open fire on the woman? He looked around and almost fainted. There is a lotus under Xen Yuanping's feet, gorgeous and dazzling. She just takes back her finger. Like a mosquito, so annoying. She makes a conclusion with one sentence, as if it is a matter of course that all the cameras on the scene are broken. The host points at her for a long time, but still dares not to come forward to ask for an explanation. As for the reporters and hosts who have just arrived, they are completely petrified. A kind of sadness surges in their hearts like the wind. Xan Yuanping comes to Huang Weijian in a few steps. The boy doesn't dodge, looking very brave. In fact, in such a confrontation, his back is already wet. This woman in black is very powerful. Huang Weijian feels something is interfering with his mouth. He steadies his hand, and the broken brush starts to move again. Every stroke of his was abnormally serious. His speed was very fast, and his strokes were very solemn. The water of the Yellow River comes from the sky. He is also reciting a poem, but this time it is not a simple goose, but Li Bai's well-known "Bring in the Wine." The boy's dry voice rings. Xan Yuanping wants to move forward again, but she seems to be blocked by something. It's really interesting. But do you think you can stop me like this? Xan Yuanping stops. When she raises her right foot again, Huang Weijian's face turns pale, but his hand doesn't stop. He continues to recite, "Rush to the sea. Never come back." The lines under the brush turn from defense to defense, rushing to Xan Yuanping. "You overestimate yourself." Xan Yuanping sneers. Her previous kindness is gone. She steps forward again and steps down. A black lotus flashes, and the lines at the tip of the brush which can trap the snake monster are crushed. Huang Weijian spits out a mouthful of blood and takes a few steps back. He can't even stand straight. Xan Yuanping approaches him in the blink of an eye and pinches the boy's neck. "Kid, you are good at talking. Let's see how you can be arrogant now." Ha! Seeing that Huang Weijian is caught, Lin Luodong clenches his fist. Rong Donglin and Yen Feng hurry to catch him. In the whole scene, excluding the police, Mr. Lin is the only one who can still fight. When he is about to move, he hears a female voice falling from the clouds. It is a little indifferent, a little lazy, but extremely familiar. "I haven't seen you for a long time. You really only know how to bully the weak." Mr. Lin is relieved, and Luodong smiles. Chapter 222. Many years later, March 11, 2011 in the Gregorian calendar will be called Day of God. The Tianfu Square in our city will become a pilgrimage place for countless young people to seek immortality and become apprentices. It was at this time and place that a mysterious hole was opened in the world of science and technology. More and more supernatural beings that had been hidden in the past surfaced. The declining method of cultivation burst forth with its last dazzling light in the 21st century. Xan Yuanping stares at the sky. The smile in her eyes has disappeared. Huang Weijian's neck is pinched and he has difficulty breathing. Blue veins stand out on his face. Xen loosens her grip on his neck and he gasps for thin air. Bewilderment, anticipation, disbelief, and relief, these different emotions intertwined. Everyone looked up at the blue sky. Under the blue sky, among the looming white clouds, a smooth flying sword is suspended in the air. It is a woman in a green ancient dress, who looks like a fairy. Her voice is beautiful, her body is exquisite, and her eyes are as beautiful as glass. However, people can't see her face clearly and can't remember what she looks like. Lin Luoran does this on purpose. She doesn't care about exposing herself as a cultivator, but she doesn't want the whole state of Huaxia to know what she looks like. Otherwise, she will have to hide in the mountains and swamps. What a coincidence! Xen Yuanping throws Huang Weijian to the ground and claps her hands. She says hello to Lin Luoran in the air casually, as if they are old friends who haven't seen each other for a long time. Of course, they probably can't be friends for the rest of their lives. So much nonsense. Lin Luoran glances at the scene. She is not satisfied with these onlookers. "Dad, Take them away first, including Luodong. Take them to the Lin family. Lin Luoran says to her father through her spiritual mind. Mr. Lin blinks, indicating that he understands. Lin Luoran and Xan Yuanping are both charming women. They are two different beauties. Lin Luoran walks with lotuses and Xan Yuanping comes on a sword. They have already attracted everyone's attention. Although the cameras of many TV stations are damaged, it doesn't stop these dedicated journalists from taking out their phones to record. It's a pity that they can't do a live broadcast. This is their common thought. Lin Luoran lives up to their expectations. She is still greeting Xan Yuanping. The next moment, several beams of red light fall from the sky like fireworks, turning into a rain of fire. The area covered is extremely wide, and the edge of the square is also affected. Xan Yuanping is confused by such an attack. This is a rain of Reiki, which has no attack power at all. However, it makes ordinary people on the edge of the square run away. It was inevitable for people to be afraid of the unknown. Whether it was the police, the reporters, or the citizens who were brave enough to stay at the edge of the square, they did not know if the sudden rain of fire was an existence similar to snake venom. They all took shelter, and the scene became chaotic. Could these be corrosive liquids? This may be the thought of most of the ordinary people on the scene. Among the dozens of policemen, only a young policeman does not hide. His eyes are shining. He believes that the woman on the sword is not that kind of person. Although they haven't seen each other for 3 or 4 years, Officer Li still recognizes Lin Luodong at a glance. He had just graduated from the police school when he encountered such an incident. Lin Luodong is now completely different from the skinny boy he used to be. However, the small movements between his eyebrows will not change much. Officer Li remembers him at once. Also, it is easy for him to recognize Lin Luoran, who deliberately blurs her face. Officer Li is calm when the crowd is jumping up and down. Back then, when he was young, he and 2 kind-hearted women helped a little boy together. This child seemed to be living a good life now. This memory was rather heartwarming. Officer Li watched as the youth and the people who had just shown off their abilities quietly retreated from the crowd without making a sound. After Lin Luodong and the others successfully leave, the rain of fire also stops falling. Completely different from the corrosive liquids in their imagination, the rain of fire quickly penetrates the skin as soon as it touches people's bodies. There is no pain. It is more like a kind of nutrient solution, which makes people feel full of vitality and refreshes their spirits. Even some old diseases seem to be relieved at this moment. The rain of spirit energy is very effective. Is the woman on the sword really a fairy? Feeling the wonderful changes in the body, even the most determined atheist will be shaken at this moment. Not to mention the giant snake, the golden hawk, the sword master, the boy, and even the woman in black who walks with lotuses on her feet. All of them have paved the way for Lin Luoran's appearance. Standing in the air on the flying sword, it is not a camouflage. Seeing that Lin Luoran is trying to win people's hearts, Xan Yuanping sneers, "You are really generous to use a large-scale rain of Reiki on these ordinary people. Therefore, how can she not hate these talented cultivation geniuses? Ordinary cultivators are struggling on this earth where Reiki is weak, but they dare to waste their talents like this. This world is so unfair. An unfair world needs people to reconstruct the rules." Xan Yuanping's mind moves, and the black lotus that never leaves her hand appears in an instant. Lin Luoran has already held the bright sword. She turns into a sword light and slashes down. In just 3 seconds, they have been fighting. No one is at a disadvantage, and no one is at an advantage. The onlookers are still sighing that the fight is too dull, but Xan Yuanping is already shocked. As the person who once caught Lin Luoran and humiliated her in the blood pool dungeon, Xan Yuanping is more surprised than anyone else about Lin Luoran's progress. She has long known that Lin Luoran has entered the level of laying foundation, but she doesn't know that Lin Luoran has become so powerful. Lin Luoran is undefeated in a head-on fight. Xan Yuanping is afraid of Xan Yuanping's talent, but she hates Lin Luoran even more. "Just you wait for me to avenge my broken arm." Xen Yuanping moves her black lotus and comes to Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran is always on guard against her. The bright sword is always the first move, but Xen Yuanping dodges it. Lin Luoran, you will need my help soon. Let's wait and see. Trust me, it will be very soon. There is a burst of black smoke, and people in the square all cough. When the smoke dissipates, Xen Yuanping is no longer standing there. Ordinary people don't see how she disappears, but Lin Luoran sees it clearly. The woman in black disappears among the tall buildings in the downtown area in a few leaps. When the black smoke dissipates, only Lin Luoran is left in the square, thinking about what the woman in black said. She stands there quietly. Goldie comes to her side in a few steps. It doesn't want to give up its pride as a golden hawk in public. It can't act cute, so it stands beside Lin Luoran obediently. This scene reminds some people of the widely circulated photo on the internet. A golden hawk and a beauty in ancient clothes. Is she the fairy riding a hawk? I'm really sorry that I haven't updated for a few days. I have too many social engagements during the festival, and I can't concentrate on writing. I'm not satisfied with what I write. Chapter 223. Lin Luoran is not in the mood to think about the onlookers. She is worried about the giant snake trapped in the square. Is it the red snake that came back to life, or is it a posthumous child? The latter is more troublesome for Lin. Snakes are oviparous and semi-oviparous animals. There is no hermaphrodite. If it is a posthumous child, it is very likely that there is a male snake in the deep mountain. Who knows when it will come to make trouble again? To test it, Lin Luoran directly wraps the snake with wackin and plans to take it home for research. Seeing that she was kneading it like dough, the snake monster crackled for a while before it was forcefully kneaded back into the shape of a little red snake. Goldie spreads its wings and Lin Luoran jumps on its back. Lin Luoran can feel that Goldie is in an unstable state. It seems that something unexpected has happened to Goldie. Lin Luoran decides to go back and check on Goldie. It is the courageous anchor of RTV2. Seeing that Lin Luoran has a positive image, how can he let go of such an opportunity? However, he just steps forward and has no time to say anything. Goldie glances at him with its cold eyes. At that moment, the anchor doesn't dare to disturb the woman with fairy chi. Like the anchor, these onlookers can only watch Goldie flutter its wings and fly into the blue sky. It flashes among the clouds and then disappears together with Goldie. The captain of the police force doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Then he receives a call from his superior, asking them to evacuate the square immediately. There is neither a gag order nor a special praise for this incident. Except for the corroded concrete ground in the center of the square, the one who suffers the most is the policeman whose head was bitten off. He didn't care what the big shots thought, but as the captain, he secretly made up his mind to fight for as much pension as possible for his colleagues who had sacrificed themselves. As a policeman, he had to be prepared to sacrifice himself one day, but how could he feel at ease fighting for the old, weak, women and children in his family if their future was not guaranteed? The ambulance carries the taxi driver to the ambulance. It is another patient bitten by a snake. Officer Lee's eyes are dim. They are not afraid of death, but they can't save the injured. It seems mysterious to outsiders, but in fact, it is just a mini-world that can hide its whereabouts. When Lin Luoran returns home with the snake, the living room of the Lin family is full of people. Mrs. Lin's eyes are red, Mr. Lin is comforting Lin Luoran, and Luodong is serving fruit and making tea. There was Yen Feng, who was the first to recover despite his glib tongue. Of course, there is also Rong Donglin, who has a complicated look, is kind, lovely, honest, and always keeps things to himself. Zheng is the most pitiful one. Seeing Lin Luoran coming in, he hurriedly stands up and greets her, Master. However, he can't hold the black blood in his mouth. When he spits it out, it is as worthless as ink. Mrs. Lin's eyes are all red. Except for Huang Weijian, who is sitting in the corner and trying to hide his existence, no other kid is as uncomfortable as him. Senior. Sister Lin, this, young Master Zhang's situation is the same as my classmate's girlfriend. He was bitten by a snake. In the solemn room, Yen Feng was the one who dared to speak up. Zheng Tian feels that the blood in his body is surging up. He is so flustered that he keeps waving his hands. There is no child Zheng in front of Master Lin. Is she trying to harm him? Seeing how cautious Zheng Tian is, Lin Luoran would laugh out loud if she didn't have the snake in her hand. Don't be so polite. Zheng Tian, try to force the snake's venom out by yourself. I will help you. It should be fine. Compared with Cyan Little Fox, whose body is covered with black blood, Zheng Tian's venom is much less serious. However, according to Yan Feng, the snake has also bitten ordinary people. Others may not know, but Lin Luoran knows very well that the snake is probably here for revenge. Others may be caught in the crossfire. Looking at Yan Feng's eyes, Lin Luoran asks, "Do you know how many people were bitten?" "Many." Lin Luodong thinks of many patients with the same symptoms on the floor of the hospital. That's not good. They are not like Zheng Tian, who is half a step into the innate realm of cultivation. Lin Luoran is an ordinary person. Even if she wants to, she doesn't have the Reiki to force the venom out. The most urgent thing now is to make an elixir that can detoxify the venom. Lin Luoran picks up the red snake in her hand. As the saying goes, whoever started the trouble should untie it. This little snake has hurt so many people. If she doesn't do something for it, it won't be able to atone for its sins. While taking Zheng Tian to the basement for treatment, Lin Luoran secretly winks at Luodong. As the little master, you should treat your classmate well. Don't leave him out. Mrs. Lin knows that there will be a lot of people at the dinner table tonight. She stops crying and goes to work, leaving the room full of men. Many things have happened today. They probably have a lot to talk about. The major media are arguing again. People in the same industry always look down on each other. The exclusive broadcasting rights of a big star's wedding are sold at a high price, let alone the appearance of an immortal. Countless viewers in our city and the surrounding counties and cities have witnessed the live broadcast. However, other provincial TV stations don't necessarily admit it. They say that it may be the promotion of a fantasy film. Our city TV station too immediately counterattacks and requests to submit the original video. The technical appraisal shows that those flying masters don't have any auxiliary equipment like wires behind them. Therefore, the whole country is shocked. The news spreads like a virus and the whole world is ignited. The country of Huaxia has always been guarded against by some big countries. Although the governments of various countries know what is going on, the people don't. Therefore, there is an army of crab on foreign networks. The more they try to cover it up, the harder it is to cover it up. The blonde and blue-eyed foreigner is curious about the blurry faces of the woman in a green dress riding on a sword and the woman in black. Oh, it's a pity that it is not a high-definition video. They can't see their faces clearly. As for the government of Huaxia, surprisingly, it doesn't say anything this time. That's right. The videos on the internet that affect the worldview of atheism are not deleted, and no one publicly admits it. It's more like they acquiesce to these claims. The attitude of the top officials is worth pondering. Some people who know the inside story are thinking about the meaning. However, the patients who have been injured by snakes in our city have received good news. It is said that the medicine presented by the military branch can save a patient with only 10 milliliters. This credit is given to Lu Sanchun. The young officer is promoted as an exception. Of course, everyone knows that behind him is Commander Qin, who retired due to illness. After 3 years of absence from the political stage of Huaxia, the branch of Qin shows a scene of prosperity again. Some people are happy while others are sad. Of course, Lin Luoran, a foundation-laying alchemist who hides behind the scenes, smiles with satisfaction after seeing the news report that the medicine can cure the snake venom. Plus equals we will start to update at midnight. It's late. Let's watch it tomorrow morning. Chapter 224. Poison and antidote always go hand in hand. There is an old saying that wherever a poisonous snake appears, there must be an antidote within 7 steps. Although it is a bit exaggerated, it is not unreasonable. However, the antidote Lin Luoran is making this time comes from the snake's blood. This red snake is extremely poisonous. Unlike other snakes that secrete venom through their venom glands, its saliva, blood, skin, and bones are all poisonous. Lin Luoran thinks in reverse. Why didn't such a poisonous thing poison itself? Obviously, there is something in the snake's body that can resist poison. After Lin Luoran purifies the snake's blood, the snake turns into a puddle of gold powder, not to mention coming back to life. The substance is hidden in the highly poisonous snake's blood. Lin Luoran takes out the preserved snake venom to do an experiment. She finds that it has an amazing detoxifying effect. Lin Luoran takes out half of the gold powder and mixes it with the water in her space. The special antidote becomes a magical, special antidote. The incident of the red snake being injured is finally solved. For Lin Luoran, this is only one of the 3 good things that happened after she got back home. Secondly, she looked at Goldie above the bamboo house. The latter was wrapped in a big golden cocoon and looked very peaceful. Under certain circumstances, some power in Goldie's body is stimulated. No matter how shameless Goldie is, it still wants to eat the gallbladder of the little red snake. Goldie rolls on the ground in pain. Lin Luoran is startled at that time. She wants to comfort Goldie, but Goldie flaps its wings and sends her flying. While the Lins are worried, Goldie rolls on the ground for a long time. He pulls off many sharp feathers and sticks them on his body, forming a big golden cocoon. Lin Luoran feels that Goldie calms down. Maybe Goldie is growing up and is molting? Thirdly, what makes Lin Luoran the happiest is that Rong has finished translating the Shui script on the bamboo sheets and handed it to her. Lin Luoran looks at the thick piece of paper and flips quickly. She has good eyesight. With such a fast speed, she can almost finish reading every word and sentence. After thinking for a while, Lin Luoran opens her eyes and asks for Rong's opinion. How accurate is the translation of these materials? 95%. Rong answers this question honestly. It's not that he is not good at translating, but that the Shui script has been passed down from generation to generation. Over thousands of years, even history can be distorted. It's inevitable that the Shui script has been passed down by word of mouth. 95%, that should be correct. Lin Luoran closes the manuscript and there is a touch of joy in her eyes. Rong Donglin is in a dilemma. He stutters, "Sister Lin, do you really believe what's written on it? There are treasures in the Dragon Palace of the Water Nationality. How can there be a dragon in the world?" Rong suddenly stops. He didn't believe it before, but now the legendary cultivator is standing in front of him. Rong smiles awkwardly and doesn't say anything. Lin Luoran's eyes are very bright. She murmurs, "It's okay if it said something else, but it said that place." But Rong is curious. Lin Luoran smiles mysteriously, "Yunmeng Lake." Yunmeng Lake? Rong has learned ancient Chinese. Yunmeng Lake refers to the area around Dongting Lake. He certainly knows about it, but is Sister Lin really going to Dongting Lake to hunt for treasures? Those legends were really too absurd. Pa! Lin Luoran puts a yellowed thread-bound book on the table. Rong has sharp eyes. The moment he sees the title of the book is Chronicle of the 9 Provinces, Lin Luoran has already turned to a page and asked him to read it himself. Chapter 53. I visited Dongting and Yeyang Tower to see the authentic works of Sven. The 800 miles of Dongting Lake is vast and misty. This is a wonder of creation. When the dark clouds fall, the golden carp vanishes. This paragraph is like a strange novel written by the literati in the Ming and Qing dynasties. In Rong's eyes, this kind of writing is worthless. Rong's eyes fall on the vermilion note next to the book. Is there a dragon palace under the lake? Rong feels a little thirsty. Lin Luoran smiles and nods to him. This is a travel note of a senior cultivator in the Ming dynasty. The part about the golden carp trying to jump over the high gate and transform into a dragon is very authentic. Therefore, what is recorded on the bamboo sheets of the Han Dynasty tomb may be true. A travel note of a senior cultivator? Rong feels that the old book in his hand is very hot. As an ordinary person, he shouldn't know too much about the secrets of the world of cultivation. He carefully placed the book on the table and forced out a sincere, smile. Senior Sister Lin, I won't disturb you anymore. I wish you a smooth trip in advance. Lin Luoran sits on the wicker chair and takes a sip of tea. Brother Rong, you're wrong. I should wish us a smooth trip. Oh, I'll ask Professor Chi for leave for you. Rong stiffens. He turns around and squeezes out a smile that is uglier than crying. As you wish, Sister Lin. But come on, Dongting Lake is not an ordinary place. It is the Dragon Palace of the Shui nationality. If ordinary people are lucky enough to go there, their lives will be shortened. Rong is really worried about this. Master, do you mean that Lin Luoran is also going to the Dongting Lake? Ellie frowns in front of her desk. Xan Yuanping has promised to teach Lin the way of cultivation, but she hasn't done anything yet. Ellie has seen the video taken by her phone. Although it is just a short fight, Ellie's intuition tells her that Lin Luoran is not defeated by Xan Yuanping. This is really bad news for Ellie, who is determined to trample on Lin Luoran. Xan Yuanping is sitting on the sofa comfortably. Holding the small stamp, she nods and says, she is looking for the soul wood all over the world. I happen to know that there may be some in the Dragon Palace. But this time, she is not the only one going. You are going too. She is going too? Ellie doesn't know what Xan Yuanping is thinking. Before she started cultivation, she didn't want to meet Lin Luoran at all. Lin Luoran has all the advantages of appearance, talent, and cultivation. As an ordinary person, Ellie feels that she has no confidence. In fact, Ellie thinks too much. Lin Luoran has already forgotten about Ellie. How can she still make things difficult for Ellie? The so-called difference between cloud and mud means that you are standing in the same place without making any progress. At that time, your enemy will not be at the same level as you. Those grudges that you once cared about are just a past that didn't go well. Looking at Ellie's unwilling face, Xan Yuanping throws out her trump card. Don't worry. This time, she will definitely ask us for help in Dongting. You can not only vent your anger, but also I will teach you the way of cultivation as long as you come back safely. Vent her anger and the way of cultivation. These two keywords make Ellie's eyes light up. When Ellie is about to say something, there is a rhythmic knock on the heavy wooden door of the office. Come in. Seeing that an outsider is coming in, Ellie quickly regains her dignity as a chairman. The door is gently pushed open. Li Anping comes in with a pile of documents in his arms. Chairman, this is last year's report. I have sorted it out. Although Li Anping's fat appearance is nothing like his handsome appearance a few years ago, most women don't like ex-boyfriends hanging around in front of them all day long. Ellie has no feelings for him at all. Although she calls him back to work in Fortune House as Xan Yuanping asked, she just humiliates him without any expression. She doesn't want him to have any practical experience. For example, the report that Li Anping brings in at this moment has been properly kept by Ellie. Asking Li Anping to sort it out is just to make fun of him. Assistant, I remember that I asked you to sort out the report of the year before last year. What you brought is last year's report. Please reorganize it. Li Anping can't hide the anger in his eyes. After struggling for a while, he agrees. Ali waved her hand and asked him to go out. There was a faint smile on her lips. Li Anping holds the documents in his arms. Xan Yuanping suddenly says, Assistant Li, do you have time to deliver a letter for me? Although it is a question, her tone is unquestionable. Li Anping can even endure Ellie's humiliation. Knowing that Xan Yuanping is the most popular person in the company, how can he refuse? He takes the envelope. There is only an address on the white title page, without the name of the recipient. Li Anping goes out with doubts. Xan Yuanping puts away the stamp and smiles playfully. This man is good at enduring. The anger in his eyes can fool Ellie, but not her. He is not angry, but he pretends to be angry. It is so interesting. Seeing that Ellie seems to be puzzled by Li Anping's action, Xan changes the topic. I'm afraid you have to be nicer to him. What? Ellie is a little confused. I mean, you have to be nicer to Li Anping. We will spend a lot of time together on this trip to Dongting Lake. If you two are like this all the time, we can forget about business. What? Li Anping is also going to Dongting Lake? Are you kidding me? Ellie can't believe it. She wants to express her dissatisfaction and disagreement. However, seeing Xin Yuanping's enigmatic smile, Ellie can't say anything. Senior Xin is not a subordinate of Fortune House. She won't listen to me. Realizing this, Ellie's face darkens. Chapter 225. Li Anping looks at the house number and finds that it is the same as the one on the envelope. He knocks on the door and a little head pops in. The boy, whose face was as smooth as jade, stared at the stranger warily. "Who are you looking for?" Li Anping forces a gentle smile and says, "Could you please give this letter to your parents for me?" "Brother?" Luo Dong holds back the urge to roll his eyes. The man in front of him has dark circles around his eyes and is fat. He looks even older than his father. Luo Dong holds back the urge to call him uncle. Luo Dong obediently takes the envelope. There is only an address but no addressee. The man doesn't look like a post office worker or a delivery man. Luo Dong is smart and he won't let anyone in easily. He asks the man in front of him if there is anything else and closes the door. The door is closed by Li Anping's nose. He still sees the exquisite wooden building and the green courtyard. He didn't know that there was such a house in the R city. What a rich family. Li Anping doesn't want to give up. Aunt Li told him that Lin Luoran bought a villa in the R city. If he knew that Lin Luoran was destined to be rich, he wouldn't have left her for Ellie. "It's all your fault." Li Anping walks in the alley and makes sure that no one is around. He kicks a can away and says, "You two bitches, you will pay me back one day for what you owe me." However, the can doesn't know what to do. It bounces back after hitting the wall and hits Li Anping's ankle. Li grits his teeth and limps back to the company. How could a can have that kind of elasticity? Unfortunately, it hit the Lin family's protective shield, causing Li Anping to suffer a small loss. Luo Dong goes to Lin Luoran with the envelope in his hand. Lin Luoran is looking for a place on the map with Rong Donglin. "Sister, a letter for you." Lin Luoran takes over the envelope and looks at the address printed on the computer. She is confused. Lin Luoran looks at the back of the envelope and finds nothing special. However, she doesn't open it right away. After being interrupted by Luo Dong, she suddenly remembers something. Lin Luoran takes out a leather envelope from under the desk and hands it to Rong. Rong raises his head. He has been bending over for a long time and his back hurts. But what does it mean? Rong looks at the 3 piles of old people inside the envelope and is confused. "Your translator's salary." Rong shakes his head. "I don't need so many." Lin Luoran takes the tea made by Luo Dong. "I haven't finished yet." "Why are you in such a hurry? This is not only your salary for translation but also the advance payment for this trip to Dongting." Seeing that Rong is about to say something, Lin Luoran interrupts him. "I know you are honest. Everyone is looking for a job. Friendship is one thing. You should make money with what you have learned. Don't let Professor Chi worry about you. Think about it. Am I right?" Lin Luoran pauses. No one in the world can live on the wind and dew. It's not shameful to make a living with what one has learned. Rong declines the offer because he doesn't want to take advantage of the Lin family. However, it's his job to be a translator. He doesn't have to turn down the salary now. What's more, his family doesn't allow him to be a virtuous man. Seeing that Rong accepts the tea, Lin Luoran takes a sip of tea and puts forward an idea that she has been thinking about for a long time. "Brother Rong, you know that our family is a little special. Luo Dong needs a teacher to teach him how to read and write. Can you consider becoming Luo Dong's tutor after you come back from Dongting?" "Tutor, Donglin?" Luo Dong nods. He has no objection. Seeing that the boy is full of expectation, Rong puts his hand on his forehead and says, "Let me think about it." Rong needs to weigh the pros and cons of being a part-time job or taking it as a full-time job. Lin Luoran doesn't want to push him too hard. She leaves Rong alone and walks out of the study with Luo Dong. Lin's house is full of Reiki. Even the spring flowers are in full bloom. Lin Luoran sits down on the swing in the backyard and opens the strange letter. Lin Luoran ponders for a while and looks at the signature of the letter, Xin Yuanping. The name of the woman in black is Xin Yuanping? Lin Luoran has just learned the name of her enemy. The problem is that they just had a fight 2 days ago. Why does she send such a letter to her? The content of the letter is simple. I know you are going to the Dongting Dragon Palace. Lin Luan, I'm afraid we have to cooperate this time. Well, even Lin Luoran feels embarrassed by these 3 short sentences. First, she has only offered a reward for the soul wood on the BBS. She has never mentioned the Dongting Dragon Palace. The woman in black. Well, how does Exine Yuanping know about it? Rong has just finished translating the part recorded on the bamboo sheets of the Han tomb in Shui script, so the news hasn't been spread yet. As for the possibility that Rong is a mole, Lin Luoren doesn't have the time even if he wants to. Secondly, if Exine Yuanping knows something, such as whether the Dongting Dragon Palace really exists and where the entrance is, why does she want to go there? Third, even if Lin Luoran chooses not to cooperate, Exine Yuanping may make trouble secretly. The problem is that no matter what, Exine Yuanping has already planned to go to Dongting Lake. Well, let's cooperate then. Lin Luoran puts the letter aside and calls Grandpa Mu. The snake monster incident in the square is still popular at this time. Grandpa Mu inevitably nags Lin Luoran, which also shows the government's attitude. Lin Luoran has a better idea. Yes, the Buddhist cultivator I talked to you last time. Well, yes. Is there any way to arrange a spell conference through the government? Grandpa Mu says it is a small problem. Lin Luoran tells him that she will visit them in the capital when she has time. Then she hangs up the phone. Cooperation. Let's have a good cooperation. Lin Luoran clenches the letter in her hand and makes up her mind. However, Exine Yuanping may not like the way Lin Luoran chooses to cooperate. Just treat it as a surprise? Rong opens the door and agrees to stay in the Lin family to be Luodong's tutor. Luodong is so happy that he jumps up. Well, we'll leave later. In the fragrant hill villa, Grandpa Mu hangs up the phone and rubs the jade ring on his finger. He has guessed what Lin Luoran is going to do when he hears that she is going to hold a spell conference. This is a job that will offend people, but Grandpa Mu agrees without thinking. It is not only because he has a good impression of Lin Luoran, but also because he is not used to the sanctimonious behavior of some people. The world of cultivation in the state of Huaxia has been torn apart in front of the common people. Maybe this is the last chance for their generation. As for what to do in the future, Grandpa Mu has no idea. However, he believes that those who can adapt to the times the fastest will always have more opportunities than others. Spells are declining. It is such a coincidence that the girl of the Lin family appears at this time. While Grandpa Mu is still thinking, a figure comes in. It is Mu Tianan, who looks weathered. This grandson of his is in his 30s, but he is still careless. Grandpa Mu is about to teach him a lesson when he notices that Mu Tianan is not in a good mood. You already know, don't you? Know what? Master Mu has a bad feeling about this. Mu Tianan laughs. There are suspicious tears in his eyes. In recent years, I have always thought that I gave the opportunity to my 6th brother. I don't regret it at all. I always want to help the Mu family develop well. Grandpa, you can give me another chance to choose? But it's ridiculous. You should have known that I have no Taoist root. I am useless in cultivation. Why do you still give me a chance to dream? It was really ridiculous. The elegant and arrogant 3rd young master Mu turned out to be a good-for-nothing. Mu Tonen laughs crazily. He used to think that he can get anything in the world as long as he works hard. Chapter 226. It takes only 2 hours to travel from Changsha to Yeyang by train. It is drizzling today and the weather is foggy. The lake is covered with a layer of water vapor. Although it is the 21st century, some fishing boats with motors return from the lake. Lin Luoran and Rong are standing on the bank of Dongting Lake. The gentle wind and the drizzle fall on them. Even though they are fanning themselves, their clothes are still wet. The water is rippling. The area of Dongting Lake has shrunk. Even the water is not as clear as before. Even if there are dragons here, it is hard to imagine how they can survive in such a water. Lin Luoran doesn't see the dragons, but the fishing boats start to dump today's catch by the lake. The spring fishing ban was about to begin, and the fishermen were making the best use of their remaining time to catch fish. Therefore, boats of fish were pulled back amidst the clattering sounds of motors, and then dumped by the lake for the old, weak women and children to sort out. Of course, it is not the season to eat crabs. However, crayfish are still abundant in Dongting Lake. March and April are the season for crayfish to lay eggs. Taking advantage of the fact that the fishing ban hasn't officially begun, most of the fish dumped by the fishermen are crayfish. Crayfish are poisonous after they die and can't be eaten. The dead crayfish are piled up on the beach in March, giving off a disgusting smell. Lin Luoran likes spicy crayfish very much. However, she sighs at this way of fishing. Rong knows what Lin Luoran is sighing about. He scratches his head and says, "One of my roommates said that the crayfish in Yeyang is the cheapest. It is only 3 or 4 yuan per pound in summer. They can't raise the price, so they have to sell the crayfish." Lin Luoran smiles. She doesn't pursue the topic. Instead, she walks over with an umbrella. "Sister, do you sell fish and shrimp?" The fisherwoman works hard and waves her hand. "Not at retail. Not at retail." Lin Luoran doesn't insist. She asks every family on the bank. There are more than 10 fishermen on the bank. Finally, an old man who is smoking talks to her. The old man's skin is bronze because of years of hard work. He smells like fish. He is smoking a low-quality cigarette beside a broken boat. "Sir, is today's harvest good?" This area is not big. The old fisherman has heard Lin Luoran chasing after other people to sell fish to her. He is waiting for the young couple to buy fish. However, Lin Luoran asks him if his harvest is good. The old fisherman finally looks at the young couple. Both of them look to be in their early 20s. The boy looked ordinary, while the girl looked very lively. "Little girl, are you really here to buy fish?" The old fisherman took a puff of his cigarette and asked indifferently. Rong has been worried. He doesn't know what's wrong with Miss Lin. They flew to Changsha and then transferred to Yang. They didn't have any rest on the way. However, when they arrived at Dongting Lake, Lin asked for fish for no reason. Hearing the old man's question, Rong is enlightened. Sister Lin is so smart that she won't say anything without thinking. He may as well wait for Sister Lin's decision. Lin Luoran rolls her eyes. She looks like a naive schoolgirl. "Sir, of course we are here to buy fish. Do you want to sell your fish?" The old fisherman glanced at the fish and crabs in the cabin and put out the cigarette. "I'm too embarrassed to sell these 2 fish and crabs to you. If word gets out, people will think that I'm a bully." Seeing that Lin Luoran is not disappointed or angry, the old fisherman says, "But if you don't mind this place being dirty, I can cook fish for you." Rong looks at the old fisherman's boat. It is a fishing boat and a housekeeper. He can see the daily necessities on the corner of the boat. The boat is as dark as the old fisherman's skin. In other words, this is a dirty fishing boat. Miss Lin might not be able to eat in such a place. Rong thinks that Lin is going to refuse. However, Lin Luoran relaxes her frown and says, "Then I'll be thick-skinned and stay for dinner, sir." She closes her umbrella and jumps onto the deck. Rong has no choice but to get on the boat. He is confused. The old fisherman was not bashful at all. He started a fire with a thin wooden plank in the small stove, put an iron pot on it, and mixed some water to boil it. He then picked out some fish, shrimps, and crabs from his net and swiftly cut open their stomachs at the back of the cabin. He cleaned up the fish's stomach, the crayfish's head, and the crab's thin legs, and poured them all into the already boiling pot. There is no ginger, onion, or cooking wine. Rong is not interested in the fish and shrimps. However, after the old fisherman sprinkles a pinch of salt on the fish, he smells the fragrance of the fish. The old fisherman takes out 2 porcelain bowls with the paint peeling off. He gives each of them a big bowl of fish. "Here you go." Lin Luoran doesn't mind. She holds the bowl and sips the fish and shrimps. Maybe because there are no other condiments except for salt, the fish and shrimps taste bland to the people in the city who are used to eating strong food. However, after a while, they can taste the special freshness of the game. "It's delicious, isn't it, Brother Rong?" Lin Luoran is satisfied. Rong says yes vaguely because his mouth is also full of fish. They don't seem to be pretending. The wrinkles on the old fisherman's face become smoother. Sir, thank you for treating us to fish. Thank you for your patronage. The two of you ate 2 bowls of fish, and he drank an extra bowl of soup. Just give me 300 yuan. The old fisherman asks for the money, ignoring Lin Luoran's words. Don't talk about feelings. It's a waste of money. Rong's heart hurts. 300 yuan for 2 bowls of fish? This is not a hospitable fisherman. This is extortion. What's wrong with me? Did I say I would treat you two to fish? My fish is wild. You cooked it without any additives. It's only 300 yuan. The old fisherman rolls his eyes. Rong is speechless. Rong is not good at quarreling with others. He blushes because he is not good at quarreling with others. Rong would have left in a huff if he was not afraid of making things worse. 3 red bills are pinched by a slim hand. Lin takes them out of the wallet and hands them to the old fisherman. The wrinkles on the old fisherman's face are all stretched out. He takes the 300 yuan with his scale-covered hand and says happily, "Little girl, you are so smart. Not bad." Lin Luoran gives Rong a look to calm down. She sits on a small stool and starts to chat with the old fisherman. Maybe because of the money, the old fisherman always answers Lin Luoran's questions. Lin Luoran starts to ask, "Sir, you must have been fishing on the Dongting Lake for many years, right?" "Little girl, you have good taste. I have been fishing on the Dongting Lake since I was 9 years old. It's been 60 years. 60 years. The state of Huaxia was founded 62 years ago. He is really old." They chat all the way. It's getting late. The old fisherman feels that the 300 yuan is worth the time. He starts to get impatient again. "I say, you're not planning to spend the night on the old man's boat, are you?" Thinking of the dark cabin, Rong feels greasy. If he really wants to sleep here, the expensive fish soup he ate this afternoon will be in vain. The rain is getting heavier. A strong wind is blowing on the lakeside. The small fishing boat is swaying. Waves splash on the cabin from time to time. It's a rare rainy day in spring. Lin Luoran's voice is a bit scattered by the wind. She still says casually, "Sir, you have seen a lot of things on the Dongting Lake. If there is a dragon palace at the bottom of the lake, where do you think it is?" Lin Luoran goes around in circles just to ask this old fisherman about the whereabouts of the dragon palace. Chapter 227. Lin Luoran seems to be joking. She asks the old fisherman where the dragon palace is. Rong is confused. However, the old fisherman puts out the cigarette in his hand and smiles. "What a discerning little girl. Only I can take you there. But the price?" The old fisherman's eyes narrow. He is not as indifferent as before. Rong feels that the old fisherman's smile is very obscene. However, Lin Luoran's eyes light up. They only have records on bamboo sheets. It says that there are countless treasures in the Dragon Palace. Dongting is so big, but no one knows where the Dragon Palace is. Although Xan Yuanping said that they want to cooperate, Lin Luoran has learned not to be led by others. Even if Xan Yuanping can take her to the Dragon Palace, she has to be prepared. In retrospect, Lin Luoran doesn't even know why she asked Liao about the Dragon Palace. Moreover, she believed him. Liao is smiling. "Since we are so familiar with each other, I can give you a discount. As long as you give me this much, I will take you to the Dragon Palace. What do you think?" Liao stretches out 3 fingers and makes a gesture. 300. Rong is thrifty but not stingy. 300 yuan for directions. If it really is the location of the Dragon Palace, it will be a good deal. 300? How can you say that? It is the Dragon King's Crystal Palace, not your backyard. 30,000, do you know? 30,000 yuan. Not a penny less. Liao's voice is particularly loud in the dim night by the lake. Several egrets fishing by the lake are startled by his voice. Rong widens his eyes and says angrily, "Why don't you rob me? This old man must be crazy. He wants to cheat Miss Lin of money. Does he want to die?" Liao's eyes bulge as much as Rong's. The simplicity of the old fisherman is gone. Rong feels that the two of them are lost rabbits. This unruly man has caught their lives and is going to extort a lot of money from them. Obviously, many people have the same opinion as Liao. The fishing boats are not far from each other, so they start to talk in a low voice. However, Liao's loud voice makes the fishing boats next door prick up their ears. Tut-tut, 30,000 yuan. How many pounds of crayfish is that? Liao is really generous. I don't know if my family can also compete for such a job. The fisherwomen who coldly refused Lin Luoran to buy fish are now very regretful. They start to shout enthusiastically, "Big sister, where are you going? If Liao wants 30,000 yuan, we can go with 3,000 yuan. That's right. It's dark here. Old Liao's hands and feet aren't as nimble as the young ones. Why don't you let Watson take you there?" "Yo, how old is your Watson? Can he even move the boat? Or is it our family's?" Money moves people's hearts. 30,000 yuan is the price of a square meter house in a place like the capital. But for these small fishermen who make a living by fishing, 3,000 yuan is enough for them to take you anywhere in Dongting. At this time, everyone wants to make some extra money. No one cares about the friendship between neighbors. Therefore, the lakeside is very lively for a while. Lin Luoran and Watson immediately become popular. Dim light comes through the old-fashioned glass lantern, which is a necessity for every fishing boat. They don't have electricity here, so the lantern is more stable and windproof. Such lights are gradually lit up. The lakeside is as lively as the new year. Lin Luoran smiles faintly and watches the fisherwomen quarreling. She wants to see how Liao will solve the problem, so she remains silent. Liao doesn't disappoint her. He sneers, "She is going to the Dragon Palace. Will you go with her for 30,000 yuan? The Dragon Palace?" The nearest fisherwoman shivers. She feels that the wind on the lake is really cold tonight. She shrinks back into the cabin and doesn't talk anymore. Liao's words are like throwing a silencing bomb into the crowd. The lakeside, which was festive just now, suddenly becomes silent. The atmosphere is as quiet as a graveyard. "Mr. Liao, here is 30,000 yuan. Please keep it. If it's convenient, can we set off tonight?" Seeing this, Lin Luoran rolls her eyes and takes out 3 stacks of Huaxia currency. She puts them in front of Liao. Of course, her wallet can't hold 30,000 yuan. She pretends to find the money in her backpack. In fact, she puts it in the space for an emergency. Since she had no money in Norway, she had to steal other people's clothes and follow the bus back home. Lin Luoran feels that although she is a cultivator, she is still in the secular world. If she doesn't want to solve the problem by force, sometimes Brother Kong Fong's affection doesn't discriminate between regions and countries. Rong knows that the Lin family is very rich. However, as an outsider, he is reluctant to give money to Lin Luoran. Liao takes the money without saying anything and counts it twice in a row. It seems that he is afraid that some of the bills are missing. Rong can't help looking away and looking at the lake. The profiteer Liao finally shows a satisfied smile. After taking the money, he says to Lin Luoran with a smile, "I'll take you there now." Of course, Lin Luoran has no objection, and Rong Donglin has no objection either. The old paddle is moving in the water. Rong and Rong find that this boat doesn't have a motor. So, is he going to take them to the Dongting Dragon Palace with the paddle? Rong feels that this is the biggest joke in the world. Why did things go wrong? Yes, Sister Lin suddenly bought fish from these fishermen, and then they ate the fish soup. Later, Sister Lin seems to be possessed and asks about the Dragon Palace from these old fishermen. Rong feels that something is wrong, but he can't tell what it is. Liao paddles steadily with an inherent sense of rhythm. Although it is not as fast as a fishing boat with a motor, Lin Luoran can still sense that they are moving fast. Looking back at the shore, there are only dim lights looming in the mist. In the sound of the water, they are far away from the shore. "Mr. Liao, why are they afraid of the Dragon Palace?" Liao keeps paddling and sneers. People who make a living on the water don't worship the sky or the earth, but they have to pray for the protection of the Dragon King every day. The Crystal Palace is a place for drowned ghosts. Of course, they are afraid of it. Rong wants to ask why Liao doesn't care about it. However, he remembers that Liao is an old man who makes a living on the water and doesn't even have an electric motor to fish. Therefore, Rong stops being stingy. The mist on the lake is getting thicker. They pass by large fishing boats from time to time. The waves tonight are a little big. The small boat with the black awning is bumping with the water. It seems that it will capsize at any time. Around midnight, the outline of an island appears in the distance. Rong feels cold and sleepy. He yawns. Where is that? Liao is anchored at the port. He is happy while anchoring. Young man, read more books when you have time. Even fishermen know that this is Mount June. Mount June? Rong is a little more awake. There is a blue sign with white characters on the port. It is the unique sign of a tourist area. The two words, Mount June, Rong can't hold back his anger when he sees it clearly. You mean the Dragon Palace is in Mount June? Liao nods. His eyes are full of appreciation for Rong's intelligence. Rong is furious. Mount June, the Mount June of Dongting Lake, is a must-visit scenic spot in Dongting, just like Yeyang Tower. Now Liao says that the Dragon Palace isn't a popular scenic spot. In fact, what makes Rong even angrier is that the old fisherman charged them 30,000 yuan for a ticket to visit Mount June from nearby Yeyang Tower. What makes him even angrier is that the old fisherman charged them 30,000 yuan. He turns around angrily, only to see that Lin Luoran is staring at the island. She is confused at first and then suddenly understands. Chapter 228. At midnight, there is only the howling of owls. Lin Luoran carries Rong and flies to the shore. The morning sun is about to jump out of the lake. In a few seconds, Liao's fishing boat has disappeared in the mist. Hey, he hasn't told us where the Dragon Palace is yet. Old man, he wants to cheat them of 30,000 yuan? No way. Lin Luoran covers Rong's mouth. Rong is good at everything except his nagging. Let's go. I know where it is. Keep your voice down. We are trespassing. Lin Luoran doesn't let him go until Rong nods. There is a map at the entrance of a tourist area. It is easy to recognize the direction of a certain scenic spot. Lin Luoran ponders the map for a while and drags Rong forward. Seeing that Rong is indeed a weak scholar, Lin Luoran takes out a piece of yellow paper from her space and puts it on Rong's feet. Poor student Rong had lived for more than 20 years, and this was the first time he felt that his entire body weighed exactly 200 grams. To put it more seriously, he suddenly felt as light as a swallow. Immortal means. Rong stumbles, but he follows Lin Luoran steadily. He doesn't notice that Lin Luoran can't help smiling. Lin Luoran doesn't admit that she is taking revenge. Rong is too slow, so she scares him with the teleport figure she got from Wenguanjing. With the teleport figure on Rong's legs, he is like a tightly wound electric toy. Every step he takes is like walking on a spring bed. He can easily pass all the obstacles. Mount June is not big. It is far away from the Yeyang Tower of Dongting Lake. If you look down from midair, you will find that it is in the shape of a turtle. It is a beautiful island embedded in Dongting Lake. There are 36 pavilions and 48 temples. Lin Luoran and Nuing pass by the famous tomb of the second concubine. Naturally, Huang and Nuing were no longer in the mortal world. Instead, there were two statues of peerless beauties enshrined in the Xiangfei Temple. They were heavily colored and their clothes were fluttering. They were surrounded by floating clouds, red cranes, tearful bamboos, lakes and mountains. The statues looked like they were about to fly into the sky. Even Lin Luoran stops for a second. The bamboos are dancing in the air. It sounds like they are crying or murmuring. It is so magical. She thought about it for a while and decided to stop worshipping the statue. Although there was no incense and candles, his heart was sincere. The two concubines would not be offended. The two of them flew past quickly. The morning sunlight shone through the gaps between the bamboo leaves and reflected in the eyes of the painted sculptures. The two clay beauties seemed to come to life, which was very magical. They disembark and go in the opposite direction. They almost cross the island and arrive at their destination on the other side of Dongting Lake. On the embankment a few feet away, the Dongting Lake is vast and misty. At this time, the water and grass are abundant. The morning sun rises and the morning glow intertwines. The endless Dongting Lake is dyed a mild red by the morning light. Rong is one of the few people in the city who are willing to study. Seeing the words, Lu Yi Well, above the pavilion, he takes a deep breath. Senior Sister Lin, this place is just a legend. A beam of green light in Lin Luoran's hand turns into a bamboo in the blink of an eye. The bamboo looks exactly the same as the one they saw in the Xiangfei temple. Lin knocks his head with the bamboo and asks, "Is this also fake?" Of course, it's not fake. Rong is just too honest to realize that many legends in the state of Huaxia may be half true and half false since there are people like Lin Luoran. It is hard to say whether there is a southern heavenly gate in the depths of the Sea of Clouds. However, Lu Yi's message specifically mentioned the name of the Dongting Dragon Palace. It may not be a lie. The two of them look at the well in front of them carefully. Different from ordinary stone wells, the well of Lu Yi Well is surrounded by two patterns in the shape of fish. The two semicircles are not connected, and there are steps extending down the well. It seems that the well really leads to the Dragon Palace under the Dongting Lake. Ordinary people can imagine this for a while. However, Lin Luoran's spiritual mind can extend for miles. She finds that the steps are just a visual illusion. In fact, the well extends down for dozens of steps and the end is already there. Lin Luoran is not disappointed. If the steps lead directly to the Dragon Palace, even if there are treasures in it, the Dragon King's foot washing cloth would have already been taken away. Brother Rong, you need to read more books. Think about the content of Lu Yi's message carefully, especially the way he entered the Dragon Palace. Although Rong is amazed by Lin Luoran's whimsical idea, he still listens to the legend. Lu Yi, a failed scholar, passed by Jing Jiang on his way back to his hometown. He guessed that he was in Chunhua County, Shaanxi Province. After saying goodbye to his friends, he saw a poor shepherdess and boldly talked to her. He was surprised to hear that the beautiful shepherdess was the third daughter of the Dragon King, the legendary dragon girl. She was abused by her husband's family and herded sheep here. Of course, Lu Yi can't stand the dragon girl's lovely begging. He promises to bring a letter to the Dragon Palace for her and seek protection from her family. Even if a mortal knows the entrance, how can he enter the Dragon Palace? The dragon girl teaches him to find an orange tree by the Dongting Lake. He knocks on the tree 3 times. Shrimp and crab soldiers come out of the water and open a way for Lu Yi to enter the Dragon Palace. Rong and Lin Luoran are not in a good mood after he finishes his story. This is a picture book from the Tang Dynasty. It is hard to imagine that an orange tree can live peacefully until now without becoming a tree monster. Lin Luoran has also explored the ground here. Even the roots of orange trees have disappeared because of the passage of time. Sister Lin, there is no orange tree here. The sky is getting bright. Mount June will soon attract a lot of tourists. If they can't find the entrance, they will probably waste the day. Lin Luoran squats down and looks at the stone fish carefully. The carvings are simple and exquisite, but they are not spiritual because of history. Lin Luoran's eyes are sharp. She can tell at a glance that this is just a later relic. It is definitely not an antique from the Tang Dynasty. Needless to say, the mouth of the well is a new one. Wait, shrimp and crab soldiers come out of the water and open a way for Lu? Lin Luoran explores the end of the stone steps with her spiritual mind again. It is a stone wall covered with thick moss. Lin Luoran can't tell what kind of stone it is. Lin Luoran's spiritual mind can't go through the wall, which attracts her attention. What does it matter if there is no orange tree? Lin Luoran is not a scholar like Lu Yi. As a cultivator with the Taoist root of the water, it would be shameful if she can't even make the water-dividing spell. Lin Luoran dares to make a spell to divide the water of the Sand River when she is still in the late stage of training qi. With her current level of cultivation, this extended well is not enough. Therefore, in the blink of an eye, Lin Luoran finishes making the water-dividing spell. The blue light is purer than the color of the sea. Lin Luoran says, "Open," in her right hand. The water in the well is separated, revealing the stone steps covered with moss. Oh, I remember now. Is this the spell that Luodong mentioned? Rong finds it interesting. He only sees the teleport figure flash and stick it to his feet. Then he becomes as light as a swallow and walks as if he is flying. This time, Rong finally sees Lin Luoran's spell. Of course, Rong doesn't know as much about cultivation as Luodong does. Luodong mistakenly calls the spell, so Rong doesn't know the difference. Let's go! The water in the well is divided into two sides. Lin Luoran is walking in the front, and Rong is following closely behind her. The water in the well is pouring down. Rong thinks it is a disaster. However, after a flash of blue light, Rong finds that there is a transparent cover around him and Lin Luoran. The cover is 1 meter away from the well. Lin Luoran lights up a ball of fire in her hand, illuminating the world under the well. It is the same as what she sensed with her spiritual mind. The entrance is narrow, but the deeper they go, the wider it is. Lin Luoran has to pay attention to any accidents. After all, this is the entrance to the Dragon Palace. The future is uncertain. Lin Luoran is multitasking, so she doesn't notice that Rong's face is flushed and his steps are not steady. The water cover is magical. Lin Luoran doesn't feel suffocated at all. However, the water is mottled. Rong feels that he is too close to Lin Luoran. He is a restless young man. He doesn't have any evil thoughts, but he can't resist the urge of young blood. It turns out that the water temperature is not low. Is he too close to Lin Luoran? It was only a few dozen steps, but Xiao Rong felt like he was walking with a fawn. It was just that a young man had a different thought, but when he thought of the Lin family's great family background, Xiao Rong's thoughts were automatically extinguished when he reached the end of the steps. There is a thick wall at the end of the stairs. Lin Luoran has explored the well and there are no other creatures in it. It is less dangerous here. A golden light jumps out from her fingertips like a dancing elf. Lin Luoran uses the golden light to scrape off the moss on the stone wall. The smooth stone wall is exposed. It is so smooth that there is nothing on it. Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran are disappointed. Rong steps on the moss and falls on the wall, which makes him dizzy. However, the echo makes Lin Luoran think about something. Both of them sensed it and very tacitly knocked on the wall for a while. It was not that they triggered a trap, but they confirmed that this was a hollow wall, or that there was a wall behind the wall. It seemed that divine sense was not always reliable. In this world, there seemed to be quite a number of places that could block divine sense and could only be discovered with one's bare hands. Lin Luoran sighs and asks Rong to step back. She exerts her strength and the destructive power of a cultivator in the level of laying foundation is self-evident. The stone wall falls down and the wall which excites Rong and Lin Luoran finally shows itself. There are some familiar characters on the wall. Rong murmurs to himself while touching the wall. This is the authentic Shui script. Of course, he is excited. This is not a summary of the Shui script. Like the bamboo sheets from the Han tomb, this is a real historical engraving. Brother Rong, let's see what it is about. Lin Luoran is wise to bring Rong here. Who says that legends can't be trusted? Maybe the Shui script is really the language of the Shui nationality. Who can tell? Rong reads the content carefully. There are not many characters, so it is easy for him to recognize them. Chapter 229. The characters in the Shui script on the wall are vivid and clear. Rong, who has been educated since he was a child, can translate it at a glance. Because of this, Rong has a strange look on his face. What on earth is it? Lin Luoran comes out to urge Xiao Tianze. What on earth is it? Rong makes up his mind. He closes his eyes and reads the words on the wall. Lin Luoran feels embarrassed, kowtow 3 times and enter the Dongting Dragon Palace. Not to mention that such a simple way is too childish. The inscription under the big characters almost blinds Rong and Lin Luoran. Liao didn't lie to you, did he? Liao. These characters are 100% written in the Shui script, but they are newly carved. Did Liao arrange all of this? Not to mention Rong, even Lin Luoran herself suspects that she has been fooled. Why did she trust Liao? Lin Luoran now realizes that she has no evidence. How can 3 kowtows count as kowtows? For some reason, Rong stretches out his right hand and makes a fist. He kowtows gently as if he is visiting a neighbor. The first time, the 2 people in the water dome are still the same. The second time, they stare at each other and can hear each other's breath. They are still standing in the same place. Rong is a little nervous. He looks at the third time with his eyes closed. A few seconds later, a big whirlpool appears on the stone wall. The whirlpool pulls them in with an irresistible force. Even a civilized person like Lin Luoran wants to swear in this situation. She feels dizzy. The twisting force challenges the limits of people's postures. Bang! Lin Luoran falls on the ground. The water dome has been broken. Rong also appears on the ground not far away. His physical strength is too weak, so he has fainted. Lin Luoran gets up and checks to make sure that Rong is fine. She uses her wacken to wake up Rong, and Lin Luoran starts to look around. Fish can be seen swimming on the transparent dome. The lake is isolated from the outside. It is dry and bright here. This should be the bottom of Dongting Lake. There are many ancient palace-like pavilions. This is an ancient building complex. The tallest and largest palace had a dazzling golden gate standing in front of it. There were dragons and phoenixes carved on it. It was gorgeous and majestic, indescribably noble. This time, even Lin Luoran recognizes the handwriting on the plaque, Dongting Dragon Palace. Dragons really loved shiny treasures. Even if this was only the outer hall, she could still see red corals that were taller than a person on both sides of the door. There were also huge pearls inlaid on the door. On the corals on both sides of the gate, there are 2 broadswords. Maybe the broadswords were used by the shrimp soldiers and crab generals who used to guard the gate. However, the entire hall is empty now. Except for Lin Luoran and Rong Donglin, all fishes and shrimps are isolated outside the hall. Not to mention dragons, there is not even a turtle. Lin Luoran tries the door. When her wacken hits the door, there are electric sparks and thunder. Lin Luoran's wacken is like a stone sinking into the sea. Nothing happens. Lin Luoran knows nothing about inhibition. Even if she does, she may not be able to open the door. After all, the dragon race plays an important role in the legends of Huaxia. As a cultivator in the level of laying foundation, Lin Luoran can probably defeat a shrimp soldier. There really is a Dongting Dragon Palace. This outer hall was completely golden, and one could see the situation outside from the inside. Fish swam through the algae, isolating all the lake water outside the hall. To build such a huge palace in a deep lake with high water pressure, even with modern technology, it would not be easy to do, right? Rong Donglin walks around curiously. He even puts his face on the wall. If you have time, why don't you walk around? Even a bead here can be a top treasure. Lin Luoran knows that Rong's family is poor, so she kindly reminds him. Lin Luoran has checked the hall with her spiritual mind. Except for the gate, everything else is normal. There is no fluctuation of Reiki. Rong should be safe. Rong is not a fool. The red corals are the most valuable. They are as tall as a person and they are rare treasures. The problem is that he can't take them away. The whole hall is shining. He can't take them away. He walks around and finds a big pearl on the wall is loose, so he takes it away. Lin Luoran has already taken all the corals. If she doesn't take them away, Xan Yuan Ping will benefit from them. Corals of this quality can even be used to make some high-level boluses. The 2 broadswords, which may be dropped by a shrimp soldier in a hurry, belong to the 3rd grade. In this era, they should be good stuff. She takes them away decisively. It is difficult for Rong to dig out the pearls. However, Lin Luoran doesn't even need to use her flying sword. She just uses her Reiki to wrap around the pearls. Can you put them away? The pigeon egg-sized pearls are beautiful, but they are really ordinary. Lin Luoran takes a few as souvenirs and asks Rong to put the rest away. Therefore, Xiao Rong put a backpack full of pearls in a daze. The weight of the pearls on his shoulders was really a sweet burden. Lin Luoran doesn't want to waste the rest of the pearls, so she puts them into her space. When Lin Luoran stands in front of the gate, where she can only see but not enter, 3 people appear at the place where she just fell. Compared to Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran, there is a small seal floating above the heads of Xan Yuanping and the other two people. The seal shines and covers them. They appear at the transmission point leisurely. Lin Luoran is ready to cooperate with Xan Yuanping when necessary. However, it doesn't include the surprise of seeing her ex-boyfriend and ex-rival in love at the same time, right? Ellie hasn't changed. With her sharp eyesight, Lin can even feel that Ellie's skin is getting better. Maybe this is why Ellie is here. It turns out that Ellie has been with Xan Yuanping these years. As for Li Anping, even a good suit can't hide the fat on his face. His eyes are blue and his face is swollen. Lin Luoran takes a lot of effort to find his face from the corner of her memory. Finally, she matches him with the word ex-boyfriend. Even though she has already let it go, she still remembers the saying. I am relieved to see that you are not living a good life. Lin Luoran doesn't cultivate the Tao of ruthlessness. She is indifferent but not indifferent. She can let it go, but she is not a Mary Sue. It was Li Anping who cheated on her. No matter what the reason was, even if it has been diluted by time, it will not become a sweet memory. Therefore, when Lin Luoran sees her ex-rival in love and ex-boyfriend, she finds that she is just a little disgusted. As for the hatred, it is not so serious. Fellow cultivator Lin, I have been looking for you everywhere. It turns out that you are one step ahead of me. Xan glances at Rong and knows that he is immortal. She doesn't show any abnormality. Lin Luoran nods slightly. Yes, I am here first. However, the gate of the Dragon Palace is locked. I am afraid that our cooperation will start from here. Xan Yuanping plays with the small seal in her hand. It is said that there are countless treasures in the Dragon Palace. Shouldn't we discuss how to distribute them before we enter? Lin Luoran sneers secretly. No one knows where the dragon race has gone. Probably no one will give up all their property before moving. Lin Luoran only hopes to find the soul wood as she wishes. She doesn't have much hope for other treasures and she doesn't look forward to it. I only want the soul wood. Xan Yuanping smiles. That's a deal. Fellow cultivator, please inject your water wacken into this small seal. The small seal in Xan Yuanping's hand looks ordinary. Is it the key to open the palace gate? As soon as Lin Luoran raises her right hand, a person falls out of the transmission point. Chapter 230. Dressed in a navy blue Taoist robe, there is still some baby fat on his face. His facial features are delicate and he looks like a girl. Who else could it be other than young Masterin? Master Lin. And greets Lin Luoran first, regardless of other people's different expressions. It seems that in his following Xan Yuanping, Lin Luoran always feels that there is a hidden thread connecting things that she didn't understand before. However, the situation is not clear yet. In a flash, some ideas come to her mind so fast that she can't catch them. Since young Masterin is here, he represents Taoist Huizhu. Of course, he should get a bigger share. Lin Luoran only wants the soul wood. She doesn't care about how much she can get. She makes this suggestion casually, but she is actually observing Xan Yuanping and Anne's expressions. Master Lin, you must be joking. And is here to find a lost relic of the Qingsheng Taoist temple under the order of the superior. Please forgive me. And is very calm, as if it is natural for him to get a share. Of course, Xan Yuanping is not so natural. Lin Luoran sees that Xan is still smiling, but it is a fake smile. Huizhu is indeed making a big deal about this. Even though he is a cultivator in the later stage of Lang Foundation, he sends a disciple who hasn't even reached the later stage of training Qi to get a share. Lin Luoran and Xan Yuanping are really disrespectful. Even if Lin Luoran doesn't care, Xan Yuanping is the most unreasonable evil cultivator who dares to attack the Qingsheng Taoist temple. And is in great danger. Lin Luoran is certainly willing to be hated by someone. Miss Xan, can we start now? The combination this time is so strange. 3 mortals, a Taoist, an evil cultivator, and a female cultivator in Lang Foundation. Lin Luoran always feels uneasy. She doesn't know what danger is in the Dragon Palace. She just wants to find the soul wood as soon as possible in case something bad happens. Then let's start. Xen Yuanping doesn't know what to do. She puts up with an seemingly calm but actually arrogant action and throws the stamp out. The stamp stops in the air 3 feet away from the Golden Gate. Lin tells Rong to stay behind her and injects pure water wacken into the stamp as Rong is told. The stamp is like a starving person, and the water wacken is delicious food. Lin Luoran is caught off guard and her water wacken is almost drained. Fortunately, the water nebula inside her body has formed. It quickly transforms the water reiki absorbed from the bead into wacken. This place is the bottom of Dongting Lake, the former territory of the king of the water nationality. Even the half-abandoned dragon palace is full of water reiki, which is enough for the bead to eat. The small seal emitted a blue luster, and the abundant water spiritual power almost made the spiritual power around it ripple. The blue light shrinks and shrinks. Lin Luoran is having a hard time. Seeing that Golem can't be fed enough, Lin Luoran's worry about Xen Yuanping's cooperation is lessened. There are only a few laying foundation cultivators in the state of Huaxia. Except for Xen, no one can provide such a huge amount of water wacken. She gritted her teeth and injected her water spiritual power into the small seal, but she gradually felt powerless. The small seal seemed to have sensed that she was struggling, so it stopped absorbing. Xen Yuanping suddenly grabs Ellie, who has been quiet. In Ellie's panic, Xen Yuanping cuts her wrist and draws out a mass of blood. A large mass of blood is purified into 3 drops of essence blood, which Xen Yuanping puts into the small stamp. She let go of Ellie, who had lost too much blood and was pale. She stared at the small seal. Success or failure, it all depends on this moment. After absorbing the water wacken and drinking human blood, the small seal lost all its spiritual light. However, after circling 3 times, the blue light soared and a dragon roar came out, echoing through the outer palace of dozens of acres. Could it be that there were still dragons in the dragon palace? Xen Yuanping is delighted. She throws a jelly to Ellie, who is on the verge of collapse. After eating it quickly, Ellie's face finally regains a trace of color. A shadow gradually takes shape in the blue light. Ordinary people like Rong, Li Anping and Ellie are stunned. Even Lin Luoran, who has seen the fire phoenix, the silver fish and the golden hawk and the cyan fox at home, is also stunned. As the totem worshipped by the state of Huaxia for thousands of years, the dragon means a lot to the people of Huaxia. They have always regarded themselves as the descendants of the dragon. The fishing boats on the Dongting Lake, which are seizing the last time before the fishing ban, find that the wind is raging. From time to time, all kinds of fish jump out of the water. Regardless of the fishing nets, they crazily gather and swim towards a direction deep in the Dongting Lake. They were only stupid creatures who didn't have any intelligence. However, they sense the king's power in their bloodline. This is the power of inheritance hidden in the deepest part of their blood. It makes all kinds of fish rush towards the direction of the dragon palace. A pilgrimage. Not only the crowd, but also the fire phoenix, who was digesting the mystical fire in the space, poked its head out from the small wooden house. Its cold phoenix eyes seemed to have a nostalgic look. Through the barrier of the mist, it looked in the direction of the small seal. A silver dragon gradually takes shape in the blue light. The horns on its head are majestic, the scales on its body are shining, and the claws are cold and sharp. However, no matter how majestic it is just a shadow. Is this the remnant soul of the silver dragon? The fire phoenix sends out a special spiritual thought, but the silver dragon doesn't respond at all. It is a little disappointed. This is just a remnant soul that has lost its consciousness. How can it still be the superior dragon? There are no dragons in the world anymore, right? Similarly, there are no phoenixes. The fire phoenix is a little depressed, so it goes back into the cabin. It also drags away the silver fish, who wants to watch the fun. The space is quiet. The warm spring breeze makes the spirit herbs sway gently. No one knows the sadness of the fire phoenix. Even if it is a remnant soul, it has the purest breath of a dragon. The gate of the main hall of the dragon palace is right there. No matter which water the silver dragon belongs to, The gate of the Dragon Palace is never closed like other dragons. The shadow rushes to the gate, and the golden gate moves slowly. Lin Luoran lowers her eyes to hide her thoughts. How can Exen Yuanping know so much about the Dragon Palace? Lin Luoran uses her Wacken as the driving force and Ellie's blood as the primer to activate the little stamp and open the gate of the Dragon Palace. Let alone the uniqueness of Ellie's bloodline, what about Li Anping? Why does Exen bring him here? There is also an. Since Hui Zhu has the Chronicle of the 9 Provinces, he should have known about the Dragon Palace. Why didn't he come here? What does he want by coming here to join in the fun? The glorious throne was at the very center of the hall, and the entire front hall was grand and majestic. The silver dragon once again let out a clear cry, wanting to rush towards the dragon throne, but the small seal released a pulling force, pulling the unwilling silver dragon back, and sucking it back into the seal. Lin Luoran can feel that the water wacken around the little seal has been used up. She has the water wacken in the level of laying foundation, but it can only make the remnant soul of the silver dragon appear for a short time. This shows how powerful the remnant soul is. Come on. Exen Yuanping drags Li Anping and Ellie into the hall. Seeing that they are safe, Lin Luoran and Rong enter the gate. As for In, he follows them leisurely and even closes the golden gate slowly. The main hall is vast and boundless. The golden pillars make it magnificent. Exen Yuanping has already disappeared with the 2 people. Lin Luoran doesn't want to go with unfortunately, and is smart enough to go to a side hall by himself. Seeing that there is no one around, Lin Luoran winks at Rong. Rong takes out a crumpled piece of paper and starts to compare it. They are not completely unprepared. This is the map of the Dragon Palace drawn by them according to the bamboo sheets unearthed from the Han tomb. No one knows who wrote these bamboo sheets, but they know a lot about the inside of the Dragon Palace. All the buildings in the outer hall are recorded. Sister, it is on the right side of the Sea View Pavilion. This way. Rong looks up from the self-drawn map and points to a direction behind the main hall. It is a remote place. The first 2 groups of people didn't notice the small door which is out of place in the main hall. The effect of the teleport figure is still there. Rong leads the way at a very fast speed. Lin Luoran follows him and disappears into the small door. In the quiet main hall, In comes out from a pillar and stares at the place where Lin Luoran and Rong disappear. Master said that we can find it if we follow Master Lin. But why do I feel that it is not a good idea? And is in a dilemma. However, after 3 years of experience, he is no longer the same and who can be satisfied with frying tofu in sesame oil. As the successor of Qingsheng Taoist Temple, he has no choice but to crush a bamboo figure. A green light enveloped Xiao, and Xiaoan's entire body, including his aura, disappeared from where he stood. If Wen Guanjing sees this, he may feel very sad. Qingsheng Taoist Temple is famous for its magic figures. The thunder summoning figure is the most advanced one among paper figures. It is so expensive that cultivators will bleed while using it. The bamboo figure crushed by An is more valuable than any other paper figure. The world of cultivation knows that Taoist Hui Zhu has some special skills, but they have never seen it. It is like the United States monopolizes certain technologies of the state of Huaxia. They never sell bamboo figures to anyone. Are you okay? Seeing that Exen Yuanping is searching in the hall, Li Anping asks Ellie in a low voice. The Dragon Palace, the small seal, the spell, the silver dragon, human blood, and Lin Luoran. All these elements are intertwined. Li Anping, who is ambitious, is in a mess. He ignores his hatred for Ellie and cares about her. After all, only he and Ellie belong to the same kind of people now. Everything else was like a superhuman in an American TV series. It was too fantastical. Ellie looks at him coldly and doesn't say anything. As for whether or not there was a trace of warmth in their hearts, no one knew. Exen Yuanping sees the interaction between the two. She doesn't say anything, but there is a smile on her face. Chapter 231. The Seaview Pavilion, as the name suggests, is probably the place where the Dragon King used to watch the tide and the water. It is built in an imposing manner. Of course, Dongting is a lake, and the Dragon King's waters are not as wide as the sea. However, no one can stop the Dragon King from naming this place as Seaview Pavilion. Thousands of years ago, this place might have been majestic and prosperous. But now, there is only an empty hall in front of Lin and Rong. They didn't expect that they could get to the Seaview Pavilion so smoothly. Lin is delighted to know that the treasure house of the Dragon Palace is nearby. Sister Lin, that is the sea platform. In the hall, there is a staircase leading to the second floor. It is said that the Dragon King often goes upstairs to observe the waters. This is probably the tallest building in the Dragon Palace. These rumors are also recorded on the bamboo slips. No one knows whose mausoleum it belongs to. He seems to be as familiar with the Dongting Dragon Palace as if he is in his own backyard. Usually, Lin will go to such a place out of curiosity. But now, she just wants to know where the treasure house is. On the right side of the Seaview Pavilion, there are lush undersea plants. It looks like the garden of the Dragon Palace. The treasure house is nowhere to be seen. What could have gone wrong? Could it be that there was a mistake in the bamboo slip? However, the record is not only correct, but also helps them avoid many traps along the way. Is it possible that the treasure house is the biggest trap? Let's split up and see if we can find any clues. Lin goes out from the side door and goes to the flower bed first. Rong nods and goes upstairs to the Seaview Pavilion. There are many exotic flowers and plants in the flower bed. Apart from the unique reefs at the bottom of the sea, there are also many famous flowers on the land. It is spring, and the flowers in the flower bed are gorgeous. Because no one has taken care of the flowers for many years, the shadows of the trees and the green vines are especially beautiful in this strange underwater world. Who can imagine that there are peonies under the Dongting Lake? Lin Luoran looks around and sees a few sea radishes among the red corals. Sea radishes are spirit herbs of the water. They usually only grow in the deep sea where sharks live. Only the special secretion of these sea radishes can make them grow normally and turn into spirits. Lin Luoran doesn't know if there are sharks in Dongting Lake. Sea radishes are rare for cultivators. However, in the Dragon Palace, they are just flowers and plants for viewing. This is just the waters of Dongting Lake. How rich and powerful are the dragons in the vast ocean? How could such a race disappear from Earth? Lin Luoran is in a daze. Dragons are not the only ones who have disappeared. Phoenixes, Kylans, and other mythical beasts are also gone. However, there was still a fire phoenix in the space. Could it be that it had been living in the space before the phoenix disappeared? The former owner of the bead was able to catch a phoenix and put it in the bead. Lin Luoran doesn't know how powerful he must be. At least, he must be someone she can only look up to. The leaves of the sea radishes are purple, which means that they have been growing for a long time. Lin Luoran will certainly not let go of such spirit herbs. She quickly puts several sea radishes into the space. After collecting the sea radishes, Lin Luoran finds a brown object under the sand. Lin Luoran brushes away the sand and finds that it is a broken clam shell. It is bigger than a round table. The clam has been dead for many years. There is also a black pearl in the size of a baby's fist in the sand. Obviously, it was produced in the clam. Both the quality and the size of the pearl are much better than the pearls that can be seen everywhere in the Dragon Palace. Dragons love money so much that they didn't even have time to take such a treasure with them. Obviously, they left in a hurry. What happened in those years? Lin Luoran always feels that the history of Huaxia from the primitive times to the Xia and Shang dynasties can't be justified by historians. What is missing? Lin Luoran looks at the bead on her wrist. The former owner of the bead may have just witnessed that era. Lin Luoran calms down and puts the black pearl away. Then she carefully searches this huge flower bed. This tree looks strange. There are thorns on it and it is bald without any leaves. The Dragon King's aesthetic is really strange. Lin Luoran thinks about it and feels weird. It is not reasonable to plant such a tree in a place full of exotic flowers and plants. As soon as she reaches out her hand, a scream comes from the Seaview Pavilion. Oh no, it is Rong Donglin's voice. Is he in danger? Lin Luoran has no time to look at the strange tree. She flies up and rushes to the second floor of the Seaview Pavilion. The window creaks when Lin Luoran flies over. The second floor is surprisingly large. Some curtains that have not decayed for thousands of years are swaying in the wind. However, Rong Donglin is nowhere to be found. Lin Luoran steps to the third floor. There are 7 floors in the Seaview Pavilion. The lower floor is big and the upper floor is small. Lin Luoran quickly flies up to the 7th floor. It is empty. There is not even a table or chair in this Seaview Pavilion. However, Rong Donglin, a living person, disappeared under Lin Luoran's nose. This situation is very similar to the time when Baojia disappeared in the desert. Rong Donglin must have found something, triggered some inhibition and was teleported away. Damn it. Lin Luoran shouldn't have taken it lightly. Even if the dragon race has abandoned the Dragon Palace, it is not a place that cultivators can easily touch. No one likes to have thieves in their house, even if it is an old house. Lin Luoran hopes that there are no other creatures in the Dragon Palace. Especially the Hanba Saintess, who thinks highly of herself and loves to possess people for no reason. There shouldn't be, right? Lin Luoran doesn't have much confidence. She is still upset. Suddenly, something flashes on the roof of the 7th floor, which attracts Lin Luoran's attention. How to describe it? It looks like a telescope. That's right. Lin Luoran thinks of a telescope, which should not exist in the Dragon Palace. Lin Luoran flies up and touches the mirror. However, she finds a chair under her. Well, does she want to sit on the chair and watch? Lin Luoran tries. She doesn't dare to sit comfortably. Lin Luoran looks into the lens cautiously. Hey, this mouth is full of steel teeth. Isn't it a ferocious shark? Can she see the outside through the lens? What about the surface of the lake? Lin Luoran thinks of something and the sparkling surface of Dongting Lake appears in the lens. There is no fishing boat on the lake. It seems that fishing is prohibited today. The lens zooms out. Lin Luoran sees Mount June. She can even see the tourists in the port clearly. Maybe she can see everything around Dongting Lake with this telescope? Lin Luoran thinks of something. She can see everything from crabs nesting in the sand holes at the bottom of the lake to the continuous embankment of the lake. She tries many places and sees many big fish at the bottom of the sea and many tourists walking on the embankment of the lake. God, she probably knows how the Dragon King used to patrol the waters. No wonder this place is called Seaview Pavilion. Through this telescope, the Dragon King can know the situation of every fish and shrimp in Dongting Lake without going out. Lin Luoran suddenly pauses and the lens is also frozen. On a dirty boat with a black awning by the lake, Liao's seemingly honest face is so clear that even the wrinkles can be seen clearly. Liao seems to be aware that someone is peeping at him. He looks around and suddenly stares at Lin Luoran with a smile. He waves his hand as if he is greeting her. He can see here. Lin Luoran is shocked. The chair under her feet starts to move. She is actually attacked by a chair. To be precise, it is probably that the chair finds that the one peeping at the water is not the Dragon King himself, so it rebels and overturns Lin Luoran. In a hurry, Lin Luoran only sees that the pattern of the floor tile under her seems to be a little strange. She just touches the ground and then disappears from the 7th floor of Seaview Pavilion. At the same time, the chair disappears. Well, the telescope also disappears. Across the vast water, Liao on the boat with a black awning even drops the cigarette in his mouth. Alas, that girl is so easily scared. Liao is very depressed. He doesn't know who would be scared to death when they encounter such a strange thing. Old Liao, what are you talking about? The fishing ban officially begins. The fishermen start to pack up. They have houses in Yang, so they don't have to live on the lake during the fishing ban. They can only start fishing again in the summer. Liao puts out the cigarette but, I say, Watson's father, can you buy my fishing boat? Watson's father is surprised. You don't fish anymore? What will you eat in the future? Liao's eyes widen. Bullshit. Don't I have children? Don't I know how to enjoy life? It turns out that Liao also has children. This is the first time I heard about it. Suddenly, the lakeside becomes lively. They have been fishing together for so many years. Although they are surprised that Liao has children, they still want to congratulate him for saying goodbye to the hard days and enjoying life. In the end, Watson's father spends 1,000 yuan to buy Liao's rotten fishing boat. This old fisherman who has been fishing for 60 years disappeared from the Dongting Lake and never showed up again. Occasionally, the neighbors scold Liao for forgetting everyone when he is enjoying life. But overall, most of them are happy for him. He has been working for 60 years. No matter what profession he is in, this is a glorious retirement. Liao is happy. When he leaves, his wrinkles are all wrinkled. He is generous this time and doesn't take away the ragged daily necessities on the boat. He waves to everyone and disappears in the stinky smell of crayfish. No one knows how happy he is. Finally, he gives away the thing he has been guarding for so many years. Everyone feels relaxed that it is quiet in the Seaview Pavilion. The hanging curtains move even though there is no wind, and shows up on the 7th floor. He seems to have been standing there for a long time. Even his feet are stiff. Isn't Master Lin testing me? Then, where did she go? Shaoan frowned, diluting the childishness of his baby face. He follows Lin from a distance and hides his trace with the help of the bamboo figure. He sees Lin suddenly disappear. At first, he thinks that Lin is tricking him because she noticed that someone is following her, and waits patiently for a long time. Seeing that Lin is not there, he comes out with peace of mind. He stares at the strange tile on the ground thoughtfully. Suddenly, he puts out one foot and steps on it carefully. Only his own footsteps can be heard. He waits for a moment, but he is still standing there. Nothing happens. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.